I really hope that this message is one of the messages.
Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Tinfoil Tuesday. How y'all doing? Hope you're having a good one. So yeah, we're here. We're gonna look at some weird conspiracy stuff, talk about why people believe the things they do, and hang out and have some fun. So welcome. Make sure you get your bingo cards ready. We are gonna be doing bingo if you would like to play. So let's see. Absolute Disgrace, thanks for 13 months. Aaliyah, thanks for gifting a sub. Baha, 70 stream streak. I think that's the winner. Halloween Town with a 25 stream streak. You know what's funnier than 24? 25. Unconditional Prong, thanks for 21 months. As 21 means 21. I am exclusively on Blue Sky, by the way. I've just not been doing social media like at all. I did hear Blue Sky went more public, so that's good. Overthought with 100 bits starts a train. Hello, YouTube peeps. How's it going? Make sure you like the stream. If you're ever on YouTube, I'd appreciate it. Thank you. Creepy Doll on the Wall with 31 months says, wow, 31 months. It's hard to believe. It's hard to believe. So, I guess let's get into it. You thought I would like this? Oh, the Tokusatsu collection that's coming out. I did put it on my list. Just so I did put this on my list. Maybe I'll get it someday. A juggle? We don't normally get juggles this early in the stream, but I got it. We can do it. Here we go. I'm not warmed up at all. This is probably the most useless skill I've ever learned that comes up regularly for me. Hold It Undying says, Hannah, did you see the post, how you're opening your D&D game? I didn't. The city of zoom in. The city of New Myth, Draenor, requires you to sign this document with all truthfulness. I hereby declare I am not, nor have I ever been, Elminster, nor to my knowledge am I an agent of Elminster. Issued by the authority of Grand Governor, Sunchild Half-Elven. Very nice. I like the logo you have for, I assume, the Grand Governor's office, or the country emblem. Whatever the symbol is, that's great. The sun with, like, the eclipse. Very cool. Is that a nod to the cosmology? Are there, like, multiple moons and, like, some sort of special cosmic event in your setting where, like, there's an eclipse that looks like that sometimes in this kingdom or something? Or is it just a cool design? Your useless skill is the ability to know too many facts about Marvel. That's not bad. 82% to level 1 on the hype train. There's a new Gamergate thing on Twitter now. Shocking. Anyway. So, let's watch some short things while we get into it, while the hype train's going. Ferris Hex, thanks for gifting a sub. Appreciate it. I appreciate everyone who supports the channel and watches in general, but couldn't do it without people donating. So thank you very much. A smaller city fell on this city, so it's like that smaller city eclipsing the sun before it fell. Ooh, dark. Literally.
We do believe that President Trump is actually protected under the continuity of government. I believe he's our authentic president, and that we are watching a movie.
Oh, really?
We're
So
watching.
he's the current.
We're watching a movie on the bingo card. 5% to level 2 on the hype train.
President of the United States?
I believe that.
Like, what is Biden doing then?
Well, Biden is, we're under continuity of government. It's a military action.
They know the words. They know these words bring them comfort, but they can't explain it. That's so interesting to me, because I know the theory she's talking about here. She's talking about devolution, which is a term in the QAnon community where they think was this secret, like, plan to give power back to Trump after the election was quote-unquote stolen from him. Wasn't stolen. He lost. But you know how it is. But even she can't explain it. It's interesting when you see a conspiracy theorist and you know the mythology better than they do, but they believe it religiously. Like, you can tell that they believe this, and it is a central part of their identity at this point. Yet you know more about it than them. It's scary. It's scary what people will attach themselves to, just because it brings them some sort of comfort, emotional gratification. I don't know. Skivizoa says, we have such sights to show you. Yeah, I have my lament configuration back there. Just be careful. Don't solve. That's one puzzle box you do not want to try. Not worth it. Rubik's Cube. Try a Rubik's Cube. Overthought, thanks for gifting a sub to Miss Higher, 29% to level 2. That's not what devolution is, Q people. I hate it. I mean, that's just what they call it, you know. Did I watch Jon Stewart return to The Daily Show? I didn't. I didn't. Anyway.
And so they're showing the people in slow motion the corruption and all the different elements, all the different agencies and the dual system. So they're saying, okay, if you want to steal the election, which they did, this is what you're...
Again, she's just repeating things, but they're vacuous. It's like they're hollow effigies of ideas that she takes for the real thing. How strange. DM Trey says it's very similar to how people will never read the Bible but make being Christian their personality. Yeah.
You're gonna get.
So then, how is Biden doing in his role? Is he the president right now?
No, Biden is an actor, but I think Biden has been gone a long time. That's how I feel.
Gone dead?
Gone dead.
Who's the one walking around?
An actor.
Do we know who the actor is?
There's different ones that play him.
Steve Martin, Steve Martin, Steve Martin.
Everybody has actors, but I know it sounds so far-fetched, but they say that they're going to reveal it soon, hopefully.
They've been saying they're going to reveal it soon for, what, 3 years now? If you're a QAnon person? Maybe start questioning it. Peter thought it was Steve Martin for a time. I messaged Peter today, by the way, because it's been a while. See how he's doing. Hope he's doing all right. Chiba Hawk says, my chocolate bunny's name is Hamster, and he is very real and a very good boy. 33% to level 2 on the hype train. Freemason number. And a minute left in the hype. The 3 moons are linked to the Order of Wizards. Elminster is a big wizard. I do like a wizard. All shapes and sizes. Big, little, half. Any kind of wizard. Big fan. Sorry, channeled the professor there for a second. Anyway.
Already spent his 2 terms. Trump was anointed to be king twice.
Do we still have King Trump or Emperor Trump on the bingo card? I don't think we do.
But when this 4 years runs out, he had to be anointed again. Because our cycles only run in 4 years.
20 seconds left in the hype.
So if he's not anointed again, if he wasn't anointed again, when the election comes up, that anointing will leave him. And he has to be anointed for the next term because he's already spent his 2 terms. He's been president this whole time. Heaven recognizes him as president.
Thanks for the hype.
And so he had to be...
DM Trey, thanks for gifting 5 tier 1 subs. Almost saves the hype train. It was a second too late, but I appreciate all the gift subs, and I'm sure all the recipients do as well. So thank you.
Anointed again.
The first bottle of oil ran off.
I think God's taking people that are on the back bench and putting them on the front bench, putting them in the big game, taking people from obscurity and putting them on the field. And I think he's sending us to the places...
Recording in car on the bingo card.
...where there's a great door of opportunity, but a lot of adversaries. San Francisco is a place which needs mercy, not judgment. And that's the reason why it is such a capital, I think, for it always has been for the homosexual movement, because its redemptive gift in San Francisco.
For the homosexual movement, gay agenda on the bingo card?
Is mercy.
Speaking of wizards, oh god, what is it?
I am an
Fantasy High Animatic?
underage student of the Eggfort Adventuring.
I will save this. This is like 5 minutes long. I'm in the middle of something, but thank you.
And mercy can be taken advantage of unless it's understood. So it's a mercy city. And I think God's having mercy on America. Now the question is, if I'm correct, how many points will they win by? Because people don't expect them to win.
So he
My
thought
son
the
thinks
49ers...
doesn't feel confident that they're going to win.
He thought that the 49ers were going to win by 4 points for 4 more years of Trump?
San Francisco. So if it's 3 points, that's close. But I'm thinking I don't like the 3. 3 number's not good because like the arrows smite 3 times. It means a lack of resolve. We can't have another lack of resolve.
If the 49ers didn't win, by the way.
Trump is getting back into office miraculously.
So he was wrong.
We cannot just love tap 3 times. We have to really be resolved that something big is going to happen. Now, think about this. 7 would be a good spread for a point spread. 7 mountains. I mean, I am being accused of being a dominionist all the time. Let's just believe God's going to do something all 7. 5 is mercy.
Numerology on the bingo card. Anyway, after the Super Bowl, here he is walking back his prediction and trying to explain the actual results, which was the Chiefs winning. Don't know by how many points.
Here they won.
Didn't watch. Not a big sports person.
And they won at a stadium, Vegas. Guess what the stadium address is? 3333. 4 threes. So it's third time they've won, and they won it in a stadium which is 3333 Al Davis Parkway, Alliance Stadium, Las Vegas.
So 4 threes, and it's their 3rd time, so 5 threes.
And the quarterback won with 333 yards. Let me repeat that. This is the 3rd win for the Chiefs with 333 yards taken in the game. Done it.
Is that number exact? Do any sports people know? Is he doing rounding error, or is it actually literally 333?
The address, 3.
I don't know sports statistics. Moving the goalposts on the bingo card for sure. In this case, almost literally. Huh. They're actual goalposts.
Here they won. And
he's right? Okay. Just
the
numerology
quarterback.
then. Just normal
One.
numerology.
With 333 yards.
According
Let
to
me
the
repeat that.
Bible, the men of God shouldn't do divination. Oh, sure, but they just say that they're anointed by God, that God has given them this gift, and therefore they don't feel like they are, you know, doing heresy or whatever. Okay, let's get into the longer content. Now the hype train is over. I just want to get into this because it looked so interesting. This is... the title is not clickbait. Apparently, this person thinks that Sonic the Hedgehog is evil. This is the Sonic the Hedgehog esoteric breakdown, and the first chapter is called Part 1, Masonic Science and Sound and the Electromagnetic Field. So, get your chili dogs ready, and, let's go fast, shall we? Sega!
Sonic the Hedgehog is a beloved video game series chock full of
It
symbolism.
is not the Cabbage Guy. This is a brand new person.
In this video,
Did one of you actually send this to me? I should double check. Was this... I grabbed a few things from the Discord, and I want to give credit if someone sent this one. 1 second, let me check. Was this... It might have been on a channel one of you guys sent me. Yeah, I believe you guys sent me a channel. No, Earth Wisdom. Who sent me this? Sorry, I'm just trying to give credit where credit's due. Who sent me this? Maybe someone didn't send me this? Maybe I just found this one and this isn't the one I thought it was. Credit if someone sent that to me. Let me know. And I'll give you credit. But other than that, I'm not sure.
I break down and decipher symbols and concepts hidden in plain sight. Symbols
Spurious symbology is evidence on the bingo card. He's already getting into what appear to be Sumerian hieroglyphics and thinking that there's a sonic ring. So I'm already pretty I'm both happy and sad about this. This is delusion of the highest degree, which I find very interesting, entertaining, and fascinating. But also, like, damn, shit's fucked, huh?
and concepts which parallel and are in fact inspired by ancient civilizations. I reveal core teachings and how these spiritual fundamentals, which today are occulted, lead to awakening and enlightenment. The 7 Chaos Emeralds, when collected, empower the main protagonist Sonic to turn supersonic, helping him defeat Eggman and lay waste to the machines that enslave the world. When combined, these 7 Chaos Emeralds work together for the benefit of the whole. These 7 Chaos Emeralds represent the 7 chakras within men.
Do they now? Misunderstanding of Eastern philosophy or religion on the bingo card.
The 7 chakras are simply artistic depictions of the 7 endocrine glands of man's system.
Oh, are they now?
When these 7 endocrine glands are unified through the balancing of our energy system, they harmonize and combine their energy in order to cause a Kundalini rising, which causes enlightenment. This is seen as Sonic becoming supersonic through the unifying of the Chaos Emeralds.
So the Chaos Emeralds are Sonic's chakras, and he unlocks them and does the supersonic. Okay.
When man's energetic system...
Speaking of which, did anyone see... I'm excited for Sonic, Generations. Sonic Generations, with Shadow. The remake that's coming out. I love Shadow the Hedgehog. I'm so goddamn excited.
...is in disbalance. The endocrine glands fail to work harmoniously, thus causing chaos and disease within. Chaos which is reflected in his outer life. When these chakras are brought into harmony, one turns chaos into order, and the fruit of this is seen in his experience. To change our world, we must first change ourselves. And as we harmonize the 7 glands of our endocrine system, we cause a harmonious blend of hormones to be released.
Harmonious blend of hormones. So he is trying to medicalize chakras to the material, but he's doing a really bad job. He's literally just claiming that they're endocrine What the fuck?
Course through the body, bringing
Sorry, I'm trying to think about this. Usually I have a pretty clear, like... In my head, often when we watch conspiracy theorists, I feel I have a pretty clear map in my head of why they believe this. It's not that hard, usually. A lot of them wear it on their sleeve. This I am so confused by. What in the world is he doing here? Like, he seems to believe all this woo-woo medical stuff, and he's combining with Sonic the Hedgehog. Seems odd, but it's just another piece of media. He could be doing this with a movie or something else. It's arbitrary, the choice. So that's out there, but I don't think it's all that informative, other than telling you how old he probably is, that he picked Sonic, of all things. What is he... Sorry, I'm trying to work it out, like a mystery. I feel like I'm in the middle of an episode of, like, Monk, and I'm trying to figure out the motive here. But I'm just lost. I'm missing a piece or something. He doesn't think Sonic is real. He thinks that it's predictive programming. He thinks that it is hiding messages of some kind within it. Esoteric secret knowledge.
healing and empowerment. The present state of man is determined...
This does make me want to play Sonic, though, if I'm being honest.
...by the hormones released.
I liked Sonic Forces. Is that wrong to like Sonic Forces?
His experience is
I liked making my own Sonic character. She's a cat.
Based on this release. For example, when in a stressful situation, cortisol is released, causing us to be in states of fight or flight, of fear. When we begin to learn how to master these glands through our daily thoughts and actions, we can influence a more harmonious flow of hormones. Hormones that bring peace and prosperity.
You'd be an excellent detective and a better psychologist. This is so funny. There's a show that came out recently called The Irrational, and it is a network TV detective show where the main guy is a behavioral psychologist who deals with irrationality and how people behave irrationally, because irrational behavior is irrational, but it is predictable. Stuff that we talk about on this show all the time. So he solves the crimes using his psychological knowledge of people being irrational, and I love it. I love that show. It's not good. Like, let me be clear. If you watch this show, it's the cheesiest, most tropey bullshit detective show. Like, I don't know how to describe it other than the most cliche thing ever, but it's a guilty pleasure at this point. New episodes come out on Tuesdays, and it's so bad, but I like it. So if you see The Irrational on TV or a streaming service or something, if you like cheesy, bad, predictable, cliche detective shows, maybe check it out. You're gonna get lines about... How do I put this? To give you the idea of the kind of show it is, he's... works with the FBI, and his ex-wife was an FBI agent. They work together now, but they're not together. But they're fine. His sister lives with him, and she's a computer hacker. So when they need computer things, his sister shows up. Is it an old people show? Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's so cheesy and on the nose and stupid, but it's fun. The performance of the main guy's pretty good. I enjoy it for what it is. It's a really good playing a video game, only paying half attention kind of stuff. Anyway, moving on.
It is no coincidence that the etymology of the words hormone and harmony are similar. And as we learn to harmonize this flow of hormones, like Sonic turning supersonic, we can use this harmonious flow as an...
Wait, hormones can make you supersonic? Is that what happened to me when I started HRT?
...empowerment.
I'm just Super Hannah now.
...for our benefit, and turn chaos into order. This is the mission of the practitioner.
Chaos from order is a thing that they think the Freemasons and Illuminati believe.
This is the goal of the Mason. Many Masonic symbols lie hidden within this game. For example, the black and white checkerboard starting line.
That's not a black and white. That's not black and white at all. That's brown and orange. That's brown and orange. Very 70s, 80s Midwestern home color palette, to be honest. Like, truly, these colors are disgusting and I hate them, but they're not black and white. Is this person colorblind? That would be interesting if part of this was that he was colorblind and didn't know what he was looking at.
At the beginning of every level, life is
Did you have an irrational craving for chili dogs? A craving for chili dogs is never irrational because they're delicious. They're delicious. Sorry, Profane Priestess, let me go find your bits. Your Sonic OC is a cat girl, huh? Not beating the allegation, fam. Whatever. Whatever. Just because I have cat ears and in a Sonic game chose a cat Sona, I am not a cat girl. I defy stereotypes, okay?
Is a game full of various levels we find ourselves in. The very name Sonic is derived from the title MaSonic.
Incorrect word etymology is evidence. Freemasons on the bingo card, indeed. Sonic is not named after Freemasons. He's named Sonic because he goes fast. And Sonic is like a sonic boom. Like, phew! That was the thought process, was sonic boom. Sonic boom, sonic boom, sonic boom. This guy hasn't played Sega CD. Anyway, so it's not a conspiracy. It's just his goddamn name.
Remove the M and the A, and you have the name of the beloved protagonist of the series. The word Sonic deals with sound. And sound is the basis of creation. It's vibration.
Supersonic? Yeah. Like supersonic, like above, yeah. Tails? His real name is Miles Prower. Miles per hour.
Causing the
Shadow. He's like a dark duplicate of Sonic. Shadow the Hedgehog. He's Shadow Sonic.
arrangement of harmonious or disharmonious structures.
Knuckles, the echidna. He's got knuckles.
Making up this reality.
It's not that hard. It's not that hard. It's Sonic.
God spoke the
The Knuckles trailer looked good. I haven't seen it.
worlds
I have liked the Sonic movies. They're fun. They're not, like, incredible or anything. I've never been the world's biggest Sonic fan. I think it's cute, and I played him as a kid, but I never was one of these people who got very into, like, the lore. Like, I don't care. I would never pick up, like, a Sonic comic book, even though I'm aware that the Sonic comics exist and they have, like, a decent, like, cult fan base, which is great. I have nothing against it. Just personally, the Sonic lore has never done much for me. It's like Mario. Like, it's a fun to play, but it's always been kind of whatever in terms of the actual fandom. I just like the game. I don't get it. Amy is a girl? Yeah, I was thinking to myself, is Amy Rose a pun at all? Just Rose, flower, girly, Amy Rose?
to existence. And according to its vibration.
Yeah, that's a shame. It sucks too because I think like Jim Carrey's good at playing Eggman, at least in the second movie. In the first one, obviously, he's just playing Jim Carrey. When they get the visual, it's fine. He's not like video game Eggman, but he's a fun villain. But I just wish Jim Carrey didn't suck so bad, right? Like, at least at some point he apologized for like the Ace Ventura transphobia stuff. But yeah, after he started dating, what was her name? Melissa McCarthy. He became a big anti-vaxxer, and he still is. It sucks. Also, if you've seen, there's a documentary, I think on Netflix, called, like, Jim and Andy, The Great Beyond, and it's about how Jim Carrey treated people on the set of Man on the Moon. He was doing, like, a method actor thing, where he was pretending to be Andy Kaufman all the time. And if anyone knows anything about Andy Kaufman, well, pretty funny, would probably be an incredibly obnoxious person to spend any amount of time around because of the way that he was, or the way at least he portrayed himself. And Jim Carrey was acting the way that Andy Kaufman portrayed himself on television all the time, meaning he was treating his co-workers, co-stars like shit. Jenny McCarthy, thank you. What did I say?
We see it form itself and come.
I said someone else, sorry. Did I say Melissa McCarthy? I bet I did. Sorry, Jenny.
To life. This fact is seen in the science of cymatics, where the grains of sands pattern themselves based off of specific sound vibrations.
See, this is annoying to me. Like, this is interesting. The predictability of the way that, like, sound waves and stuff can do stuff like this is interesting. But it's not interesting in the way that this guy thinks. it's not interesting in some sort of esoteric magic secret knowledge way. It's interesting in that the physical world runs on rules that are predictable. If you do the same thing, if you have the same input over and over with not, you know, a bunch of other factors coming in, then you're going to get the same result. So that's cool, and I'm sure people who study, like, sound waves and stuff look at this and know what to do with this and find information out of it, but it doesn't carry secret knowledge. It's not magic.
A change in vibration means a change of patterns. When collected, the chaos...
Looks like I need a third shelf for all those DVDs. I have a shelf out in the garage that I'm restoring. It's actually the shelf from my childhood that I kept my movies on back when I had a VHS collection. So I started restoring that, and I only got a little bit into it last fall, and then winter came, and it's been cold out there, so I just haven't been out. As spring comes, I'll be fixing that up, like I did this one. I restored this shelf too. And they'll probably both go here, next to each other or something.
Emeralds surround Sonic and oscillate in a structured pattern. This represents the electromagnetic field which surrounds man, and who...
By the way, this is related, but it's actually funny that the chakra thing came up today, because one of you guys sent me this video. This was actually from Discord. Let me see who sent this one. This was from DM Trey. DM Trey sent this short clip. I've talked about how conspiracy theorists tend to do things in cycles. Like, there are waves of trends. Are chakras a big discussion right now? Because we have 2 today. Have I been collecting the Tomorrowverse? I don't know what that is.
Breaking information, news.
So I want you guys to go on your computer and put on the screen the chakra system, you know, with the colors all the way up. So just look at chakras, and you're going to see basically the 7 chakra system. Yeah, right there. Just point that up, okay? So you see how the purple is on top, which is basically by the crown chakra, and the very bottom.
I'm pretty sure in this, first of all, I'm going to be clear here, I don't know anything about, like, this stuff. Like, whatever the actual origin of the belief of the chakra stuff is, I don't know anything about it. So anything I say that's wrong here, if someone knows, feel free to correct me, and don't take what I'm saying at face value, because I don't know. But in this particular image, it kind of feels like it's going, like, RGB, like it's you know, violet, blue, sort of like light blue, green to yellow. Like, this is just the color spectrum, right? So the colors are just how the color spectrum is. Like, he's trying to say at the top is purple, and this means some specific thing. First of all, I don't know if traditional, like, illustrations of chakras have this color coding in the first place, but even if they do, it's just like a rainbow. Like, it's how colors divide when you, like, use a prism or something, or you see a rainbow. This is just, like, what they look like. It's not a nefarious scheme. It's not telling you anything other than we're color coding these. You're not going to believe where they take this, chat.
Bottom of
You'll believe
it is red.
Yes.
And the red represents the
I should know about chakras. I watched Avatar. You know, I didn't assume that the early 2000s children's cartoon gave me an in-depth knowledge of a sacred belief of many, many people.
Chakra, okay? So now...
I know the pop culture Western idea of chakras is... I've heard of them. I'm aware of this. I've seen them in Doctor Strange. Like, that's what I'm saying, is I have a pop culture surface random understanding from where I am. I do not know what the actual, like, faith or whatever that this came out of. I know it's part of, like, Chinese traditional medicine or something, and a spiritual belief in different places, but, like, I don't know.
Take that and put it side by side with the LGBT flag.
Here it is.
Oh.
Chakras are gay, is the message.
Damn.
Now, you see...
Fucking color spectrum, how does that work?
Yeah, put it up. Now, you see how it's...
And I don't want to talk to a scientist. They always be lying and getting me pissed.
When it comes to the
Oh, look
LGBT
up the-
flag,
Yeah.
put the LGBT flag up now.
It came out. It was on. It was on.
Oh
accident.
my God, you're right. Holy
purple is-
shit.
They're both based off rainbows, gentlemen. That's the color spectrum. That's our visible color spectrum.
Was on the
Obviously very stylized and bricked into very specific, you know, not primary colors, but, you know, simple colors. It's not as gradient as it is in reality, but, you know, it's a rainbow. It's a rainbow imagery. Do they not know rainbows exist? I genuinely don't think they understand or have thought of the actual reason this is like this. Which is interesting to me. Because, how do I put this? Conspiracy theorists generally try to think about why things the way they are. They're usually wrong about their conclusions. They're erroneous. But they do tend to try and come up with underlying things. In this case, though, they just assume this is nefarious and secret instead of, oh, why is it like this? It's based on a rainbow. Rainbows are universal in the sense that the colors are always in the same order because it's just a physical fact of reality. It's how light works when you divide it. How we perceive it, at least.
very bottom, and the red is on the very top. Now, you have to understand.
Does this mean that Doctor Who is gay? I'm joking. Oh god, what is it? Oh, I remember. Yeah, I follow Diamanda. Diamanda's great. And I say, hey, yeah. I don't always agree with Diamanda hates New Who like a lot for the most part, and I don't always agree, but I respect the hell out of her. She's she's one of those people that, like, you have people that you disagree with, but you're like, I see where you're coming from. Fuck yeah. Like, you just like how they talk. You like how they express themselves. I like Diamanda. Diamanda was on Channel Awesome back in the day. I've talked before about all the people who unfortunately had to work on Channel Awesome but came out of it and are cool people, and she's one of them, so. Profane Priestess says, oh, in this vid, Trey's my boyfriend and has showed it to me, he says that purple is the color of royalty. Here's the fun anthropology of India fact. Indian culture does not associate wealth and power with blue and purple like us in the West. Let me guess, because dyes for purple were much more widely available. They associate those things with, guess what, red and gold, traditionally ochre and saffron to be specific. He's projecting Westernism so hard. Is it the availability of different, like, pigments, basically? Because, like, I knew that the Western, like, connection of royalty to purple came from the rarity of things like indigo pigments, stuff like that. So, would make sense.
And what red is associated with sex.
What? Sorry, I feel like today I'm going a little slow, but that's fine. I'm going a little more in-depth on videos and taking a little more granular look at things. First of all, conspiracy theorist tells on themselves. Conspiracy theorist is projecting something. They are uncomfortable with homosexuality or something in regard to the LGBT community makes them uncomfortable in regard to sex. Maybe because the idea of same-sex coupling makes him think about things that he is either uncomfortable with or thinks he should be uncomfortable with but isn't. I'm not doing the thing. I'm not saying homophobes are gay. I hate that shit. But, I don't know. He's feeling something in regard to sex. Thus he is bringing it up. People don't usually bring up things for no reason like that. When it's a completely irrational statement that everyone in the room is like, wait, what the fuck are you talking about? That's coming from the person saying it somewhere. They are reacting to something that you and other people in the room don't know is there because it's not coming from in the room, it's coming from inside themselves. They're projecting something and addressing it because they believe it needs to be addressed broadly because they think it is coming from outside of themselves, but in reality it's not. So what seems like an irrational statement to you or I, red is a color associated with sex, which, let's break that down real quick. That's going to be subjective culturally in the context. But broadly, you can see what he's saying. Valentine's Day, for instance, is tomorrow here in the United States and wherever else it's celebrated. I don't know if it's the same everywhere. Everywhere that it's celebrated, I should say. But there is a cultural connotation within specific contexts that red can be associated with romance and sex, you know? Think about traditional Valentine's Day things. Red, you know? Red hearts. Arrows with little red things on them. Roses. Red roses specifically. Passion, you think of red. But here's the thing, that's not a universal thing. It's dependent entirely upon the context. You know what else is associated with red? Food. That's why you see red so often with restaurants. McDonald's, Arby's. Think of a restaurant. Often they have yellow or red in their logos, and that's an actual psychology thing. Again, I don't think this is necessarily universal. I think a lot of these things are culturally contextualized. But in the United States, we associate red with food as well. The point I'm trying to make is these are loose associations that theoretically could be a connection to something, but in this case, it's not really reasonable to assume that's what it means. He is going out of his way to make this connection because he is anxious about something. So he's really reaching here. DM Trey says, I feel like people like this are terrified of being unexceptional, but are ill-equipped to actually have the curiosity to research, but they have a need to be great. P.S. Yes, the dyes are rare. Thank you. Good to know. Hot pink was actually the color on the pride flag given to sex. Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know the different colors actually had some sort of specific meaning. You can still buy Tyrian purple and it's still a small fortune. Oh my goodness. Wow. Like $3,000 for like this much. That is incredible. I gotta imagine if you're doing that, you're making specific like bespoke paints or something. If you're like either really, I don't want to say high tier, because like art is all subjective. If you're an artist with a incredibly like high budget for whatever reason, I assume you're using stuff like that when you're making your own paints. Anyway, so what I was trying to say, long story short, is it is interesting seeing what other people bring to the table. He is the one talking about the color red and thinking it's associated with this stuff, but he assumes this is universal. He is speaking out loud for things that no one else can see but him because they're coming from inside the brain.
So on the root chakra level, people who are just going around, see, these are the simps who are signing up for OnlyFans, the people who are...
So we've jumped from homosexuality to quote-unquote simps paying for OnlyFans. Again, you see the insecurity here? There's something he's upset with. There's some anxiety that he is feeling here. And it's all attached to a vague symbol. Profane Priestess said, sort of, Lakshmi, a common worshipped goddess of wealth and commerce, is usually dressed in red. This probably does root in the relative rarity of saffron, the plant, and other sources of red dye, but the obvious connection is a religious one. Oh, okay. Interesting. I'm telling you, one of these days I want to go back to school and become like an anthropologist or something. Or some, whatever would be a combination of anthropologist and psychologist. Sociology? I don't know. I want to go do this, but like in a place where I have more resources and people to ask things that know what they're talking about. Anyway. Freyline says, Baker and Segerblom's flag debuted at the Gay Freedom Pride Parade in San Francisco in 1978. Each of the original 8 colors had their own unique symbolism: hot pink, sex; red, life; orange, healing; yellow, sunlight; green, nature; turquoise, magic and art; indigo, serenity; and violet, spirit.
Or basically horror.
Cruelty, thanks for 25 months.
On the streets, they're
I'm good, how are you?
Dominated by the root chakra. They're all the way at the bottom. At the top is the purple, because purple is the color of royalty. But see, with the LGBT, it's the complete opposite.
Oh my God,
the
dude.
red is on the very top because what they believe in. Now, again, I'm not speaking for all gay people. There's gay people out there.
I'm not speaking for. Are you speaking for any gay people? What the fuck are you saying?
Who live a normal life.
Yeah.
Hydrate.
I'm talking about the majority of people.
Oh, he's just. Don't worry, guys. He's not talking about all LGBT people, just most. I find that funny when I had this discussion with several Trump people, my dad in particular, around 2015, 2016, who seemed to not understand statements like that, or statements like, remember when Trump called people coming over the border like rapists and murderers and thieves, and then he went, some of them I'm sure are good people. Like, that was always the comeback, was he said some of them were good people. No, you're missing the point. The fact that in your brain most are evil, saying that some of them are the good ones, like you're one of the good ones, that's not good. That's part of the problem, is that you assume that most are evil. That's the problem.
People out there who are going in these streets, dressing half naked. Sexuality is what.
Wait, we're supposed to be half naked? I didn't get the memo.
Is their ruler. What they
how they identify.
And that's why that's the biggest thing to them. That's why all it is about their sexuality. That's why they identify with this, because of this system.
No, people just want to live their lives and not be treated like shit for it. And Pride is a celebration of all that, like, LGBT people have gone through presently and historically to get where we are now, to both look backward at all that we have accomplished and also look forward at the work we still have to do, while also celebrating each other and ourselves in a space where we feel safe, relatively speaking, because we're surrounded by people who are either like us or allies, generally. There's usually a few people yelling at a megaphone about Jesus or this devil or stuff, but, for the most part, we laugh at them. I can't wait for Pride again this year.
Crazy.
I'm gonna get something super fucking cute to wear. I've lost so much weight since last year, and I feel so much better about myself, and hey, like, that's not everything, but it was like a personal goal of mine. I had some personal goals in regard to, like, what I wanted my weight to be by the time I was 30, and we're a month out from my birthday, just under a month, and I already reached those goals, and then some, so I'm pretty happy. I'm excited. I need a lot of new clothes, though. Things don't fit very well.
It's gonna sound stupid, but that wasn't a
I'll be so cute. Pfft, I'm always cute.
coincidence, right?
No.
Yeah, obviously, right. Just making sure everybody understands it wasn't a coincidence.
No, that was done on purpose. Now I'm gonna get even deeper for you guys.
Wait, were we deep? Was this deep so far? Don't worry, by the way. This is almost done, and we'll be back to the Sonic thing.
The birthplace.
The Sonic thing is the jumping off point. The framing story. This was Creepshow. That's the framing story.
Sexuality in America was Stonewall, basically New York. But the movement actually took place the strongest in San Francisco, California. Why did they choose San Francisco, California?
Why?
Because they didn't choose. Again, there's this top-down belief of there's a them out there that chose something. The reasons that different communities and groups conglomerate in certain areas, like, there are historical and social reasons for that. You can look them up. Like, there's a reason that so much of the queer community ended up in San Francisco at that period in time. You can look into this. There are whole documentaries about it. They're acting like it's a mystery. They're acting as though because they don't already know the historical reality of why San Francisco was the way it was during that period, and how it became what it is now. There are reasons. Ugh.
Because San Francisco is the root chakra of the earth.
The earth has chakras now? The people who came up with the concept of chakras didn't even know there was a California. Didn't you think that there's a specific chakra on the earth that is in San Francisco? Huh.
That's where the sexual energy of the earth is. How
So if I'm hearing this right, he's trying to say that San Francisco is the crotch of the earth. All right.
Can I prove this? Because,
Please, how can you prove it?
I like to do, unlike other people, is give people proof. Well,
Okay.
there's a certain type of tree that grows in that Northern California area.
Please be a tree that looks like a dick. Please be a tree that looks like a dick. Please be a tree that looks like a dick.
Only there. It's called the redwood. Redwood. You guys
Redwood.
get it?
Yeah, my wood.
Guys, he's thinking about cocks.
Oh, yeah, wood.
So again, red root chakra symbolizes sexuality.
Red, root chakra, cocks. I rest my case.
San Francisco, they basically, by turning San Francisco gay, they spread it all over the world.
What the fuck are you talking about? The redwood forest made me gay.
Because that is the root chakra of the earth. Is this making sense to you guys?
Yeah, and I wouldn't doubt if you studied it. I bet you there's some ley lines around San Francisco as well.
And, by the way, where's Bohemian Grove?
Yeah. Oh, damn.
Right
dude.
there in San Francisco. So again, they do those sick, sexual, sadistic acts by the root chakra of the earth. And it's all done on purpose. The inverted LGBT flag with the chakra system, it's all there. So what people have to understand is this is a psyop. This
Psyop
is
on the bingo card.
The psyop.
So fun. So the chakras thing is so hot right now. Back to Sanic.
Whose state is dependent upon our inner alchemy. These are Masonic secrets revealing the generative principles of creation.
Degenerative principles.
And as creation is made in the image of God, so on a microcosmic level, we create
microcosmic
or manifest a world and circumstances around us based on the state of our electromagnetic field being generated from our heart. If we're full of hatred in our heart, that
I'm sorry, did you just say that you think our heart what?
World and
You think our heart generates it?
Around us based on the state of our electromagnetic field being
Okay, let's go over the bingo card real quick because we have a bunch we need to put down and I'm sure I'm going to forget half anyway. Illuminati / Freemasons. Popular media is evil. Predictive programming. We're all watching a movie. Conspiracy theorists tells on themselves. Give me numbers if you can when you type things, chat. It helps me out a lot. Poor understanding of philosophy, Eastern religion. Have we actually had Satanic yet? We've had PSYOP for sure. That just happened. Hannah puts head in hands. Okay. Spurious symbology. Recording in car. Moves goalposts. Word salad. Correlation isn't causation. Incorrect word origin is evidence. The gay agenda, of course. Anything else? Wait, what was 60? We got 60, yeah. They said Bohemian Grove, they didn't say satanic, I don't think. Wait, did we? Wait, hold on. Satanic. No, I don't think they said satanic yet. Did the Clintons get mentioned? I don't remember that. Was Biden mentioned? When did we have QAnon? I don't remember that being right. I mentioned QAnon, but I don't think anyone else did. I talked about it. Biden did get mentioned. You're actually right. Yep. Because the MAGA lady. All right. I think that's it for now. Numerology. Which number? Because we did have numerology. Not gematria, but numerology. You know what? We do have ancient wisdom. I forgot about the Assyrian stuff at the top of it. We didn't just... oh, wait. Do we even have normal numerology anymore, or is it just rounding error? We might only have rounding error now. I Necrophage, thanks for 33 months. The chakra stuff isn't ancient wisdom, but we had it for something else. That was poor understanding of philosophy or Eastern religion. No, we didn't have rounding error numerology. We had normal numerology, which I don't think is on the bingo card anymore. All right, caught up.
Generated from our heart. If we're full of hatred in our heart, that will manifest itself into our outer world. For life is simply a reflection of our inner state of being. Like the
There's a certain truth to that, I guess, in that the way that you feel is going to paint your perceptions of things. It doesn't literally change the world, though, as much as it changes you. And if you are different, then people will react differently to you in social situations.
grains of sands rearranging themselves based on vibration. The events in your life rearrange themselves constantly based on the vibration you're resonating at. The order
again with the resin, all the vibe stuff, the resonance stuff. I've talked about this before, but it very much feels like they're trying to materially explain their feelings. They're trying to bring their feelings into material reality, where they feel like if they feel something, it's a literal energy that can be measured and like put out.
Is like so. Your thoughts and inner speech influence your feelings through the release of hormones.
Your feelings influence your thoughts. I think you had that backwards. Like, there's a feedback. It can go back and forth, but you're acting as though your thoughts affect your feelings in one direction and not the other way.
Your feelings, in turn, affect your electromagnetic field, which is your...
There's no evidence of that. He's basically talking about auras. Vibes-based conspiracy. Vibes-based conspiracy on the bingo card.
Aura. This aura is what attracts and repels the things you experience in life based on its coding or vibration. Your vibe attracts your life, and your vibe also attracts your life. We see the type of life Sonic manifests is based on his vibe. Everything seems to always work out in spontaneous ways for him. Could that be a result of his confident and relaxed demeanor?
I think it's the result of him being a protagonist in a fictional story for mostly children. And that's just the nature of stories, is the protagonist usually wins. Not always, but usually. Again, that's not mystical, it's not a message, it's the nature of storytelling, especially stories for, again, children for the most part.
Attracting it? When it comes to the...
Mike Max says, I'm the tallest of mountains, I am the roughest of ways, I'm the toughest of terrors, I'm the darkest of days, I'm the last one that's standing, don't try to stand in my way, because I've been up against better, just take a look at my face. That sounds familiar.
The outcomes of our lives, we have more influence over the results than most are aware of. Through these occulted teachings, we gain wisdom and understanding to implement into creating better lives for ourselves, which result in a better world for everyone. As more and more of us grasp these truths and begin to implement them, we become lights in this dark age of control and manipulation. When it comes to creation, the only thing to precede sound or speech is thought. God spoke the world into existence, but it was first a thought within his mind. In the same way, we can only speak and create into reality based on what we are conscious of. So guard your mind with diligence. When dealing with Masonic symbolism, we are dealing with the science of sound and thought and its relation to the generative principles of creation. In other words, Masons hide the secrets of creation within symbols and metaphors.
They don't, though. They don't.
Same as all ancient traditions. A Mason, in my opinion, is a mother's son. Masons broken down is Ma and son. Son of Ma.
How many incorrect explanations can you get for one word? I have had so many different conspiracy theorists give different hypotheticals about why they think Freemasons are called that. None of them are right.
So who is this mother of which they are sons? It is Mother Earth, of which we are all sons. Being born within the womb of Earth, we are all children of this great mother. This great mother, this reality or simulation we all find ourselves in, is a teacher. Through observing nature and events, we are observing ourselves in the internal processes of our body, which are externalized. This is so because man and the world are one. We are a microcosm of the macrocosm. Everything we see manifested in this simulation was first a thought entertained within the mind of man. What we focus...
So he thinks the reality is fractal. As above, so below. He's doing this shit. Okay, he thinks that everything we do is a microcosm of some larger issue. Not true. Stone Corbell says if you play this video back through and pay attention each time he says the word based, it sticks out so much. Oh, I've noticed too. I just haven't said anything, but every time he's like, based? Like, I just want to take those clips. Based?
on we give energy to. What we give sufficient energy to will manifest. And so...
Oh, this is the secret type stuff.
Whatever outcome we see on Earth has its roots in the mind of men. This science has been understood and passed down through...
That's not science. That's not science. The secret isn't science. It's bullshit? It's bullshit. You cannot manifest things into the world just by thinking them. If you are goal-oriented, thinking about that goal regularly will help you continue to keep on track with it and pursue activities that will further you towards that goal. But it's not magical. It's literally just a way of trying to keep yourself on track.
Through wise men in the form of parables and symbols. Ancient wise men grasping these lessons of Earth and creation.
I'm sorry, hearing this with vague, like Sonic 2 soundtrack in the background is killing me. Bam, bam, bam. Swear I'm getting flashbacks to drowning in purple liquid. MH Darkbeat says, Hannah, do you have a minute to watch the trailer for the absolute worst reality show from 2005? Oh boy. Let's see what it is. What is it? Invasion of Iowa? Oh god, it's from Spike TV. Ugh.
The housewife, the mayor, the town, the punk, the priest, and everyone around. They were all pawns in my wicked plot.
I'm sorry, is that William Shatner?
Fake shooting a movie when we're really not. Small town in the middle of the sticks. I tricked them! It's a phony sci-fi flick!
Shatner, his guru, the Starling.
Hurrah!
The camera crew, the nephew, and
That's over on Midwestern ice. Let me tell you how it ends. No, it's a big surprise.
How did I never hear about this?
A
Seems
movie
like
crew
kind of bad
that really
shit
wasn't
I
true.
So did Jesse Kendrick.
A big old hoax on these good folks.
Oh no!
A Spike TV miniseries event in...
Wow, Spike TV was the worst.
reverse engineered this knowledge to empower their lives and create technology. The very creation of a video game such as Sonic is the creation of a world of itself. And how could one create a world unless he has studied and understood the secrets of creation found within this world?
That's such a strange non sequitur. You think that the creation of a video game like Sonic the Hedgehog 1 or 2 is tantamount to the creation of an entire world? Like, game design is a really interesting topic, but I don't know. I think you're going a little far there. Thank you for the link.
World. The name of this channel is Earth Wisdom because a long time ago I realized that the answers to my questions could be found within myself and therefore the universe.
One of the books said transmuting sexual energy into DMT. I didn't know if you noticed the title of that book, so that's good. More of a Mario fan? Unironically, yes, but I do like Sonic.
Sonic collecting rings to turn supersonic is a personification of the light of the world, our pineal gland. As Sonic remaining in his super state is dependent upon how many rings he has collected, so the pineal gland activates and lights up for as long as it is fueled by sexual energy.
The rings are sexual energy? Okay. So, the pineal gland, which is a real gland, is used often by conspiracy theorists and woo-woo people in general as though it is magic and the source of, like, psychic intuition and all sorts of nonsense. There have been some movies that have gone into this and used this belief as a plot point, too. Oh god, what movie was it where the guy has his pineal gland shoot out of his head and it's like a dick? It's like a weird head dick. Anyway, there are movies that talk about this too, so. From Beyond, thank you. Great movie.
Sonic Super...
Yeah, From Beyond, from the same guy who did Reanimator, also with Jeffrey Combs, who's great.
State is fueled by the energy gathered from the rings he collects. When their energy is used up, he returns to his base form.
My brain keeps wanting to say Frank Henenlotter, but I know it's not him because Henenlotter did like Basket Case and Frankenhooker. Why am I blanking on the name of the guy that did the Lovecraft adaptations? Someone let me know. Someone knows.
Much the same way, when we gather our sexual energies by becoming practitioners of...
Is the Sonic thing getting horny? Stuart Gordon, thank you. Oh, Dolls is good. I like Dolls. Yeah, Dolls is in this Arrow video store set.
Semen retention.
Stuart Gordon. Semen retention. So Sonic is doing semen retention. No fap Sonic. Excessive Observer, thanks for 45 months.
We gather our sexual energies by becoming practitioners of semen retention. This energy becomes the fuel that lights up our pineal gland, which causes...
He thinks his brain is fueled by cum? Alright.
...to burn brightly and empower us.
Hannah mentions Blu-rays on the bingo card. I did it. Yep.
The pineal gland can only stay within the state for as long as it is fueled by sexual energy. As soon as the sexual energy is depleted, the pineal gland shuts off from this heightened state and returns to its sleeping state. In other words, the third eye awakens and opens, becoming the light of the world when fueled with sexual energy. When this energy is drained or depleted, the eye returns to its slumber. The goal of Sonic is to collect these energy rings which empower and add to his life, helping him defeat the levels. In much the same...
So in his head, the Sonic the Hedgehog video games are a metaphor in which you are helping Sonic get horny enough to become supersonic to defeat evil, because an open, horny state through semen retention activates your pineal gland, which is a... Supersonic is a metaphor for your horny pineal gland, and then you will defeat evil, Dr. Eggman, or whatever you think evil is, with your horny pineal gland. Okay. That's nonsense, but at least I understand the nonsense. Did someone say horny Sonic? No.
Same way,
I like that song.
sexual
Not so much that video, but, you know.
energy is collected by the practitioner of semen retention in order to help him awaken his dormant spiritual abilities and scale the various levels of this world, or matrix we live within.
Matrix on the bingo card.
Many ancient sages teach how sexual energy is brain food. When sufficient rings are collected in the game, Sonic receives an extra life. Many of us are already aware of the healing benefits that semen retention bestow on us. Rings in the game are also portals. In the opening,
what was the lady with the Canadian pedo Satanist sign? We already went over her stuff. I don't think there was anything new. Like, what do you mean, what was she? Like, on terms of... on the bingo card? We'll go over it again later. The fact that Sonic refuses to call Twitter X will never not be funny to me. This was voices by the actual voice actors during their last Twitter takeover.
All right, everyone.
Is this man suggesting Sonic is collecting cock rings? No, they're metaphorical!
It's time to send us in your questions with the hashtag AskSonic, and we'll answer on Twitter and TikTok.
Can we still call it that?
I'm still gonna call it that.
You know, I think I kind of prefer X.
Oh, you would.
What? It feels more industrial.
It feels more industrial.
scene of Sonic, we see in the backdrop wings around a ring. Where else in symbolism do we see this? Where could all of this inspiration have come from? After all, Sonic doesn't fly, so why have a symbol which signifies flight? It speaks of an...
I don't know, I guess to me it kind of looks like a patch with the wings. He's fast, he's Sonic, I don't know. Yeah, speed, it's like a speed thing. Like, I feel like he's looking for like a one-to-one. It's a visual metaphor. I don't think they do the plane until the second one. The plane is in Sonic 2, when Tails shows up. But either way, Hermes, that's a good, yeah, the wings on the shoes. It's just a visual metaphor for speed.
an inner flight, one that our inner eagle must take. In ancient symbolism, the pineal gland is often personified as an eagle. To personify an awoken pineal gland, they specifically chose the eagle with opened wings to signify this fact. This we see in many ancient symbols: the caduceus of Hermes, the Mesopotamian tree of life, Egyptian headdresses. These symbols and many more conceal the third eye. The ring and wings are the very symbol given to the third eye chakra. The third eye chakra is an artistic depiction of the pineal gland, one of the 7 endocrine glands. Notice that in many depictions, the caduceus...
He thinks we did, though, Harold Elbelman. He thinks that the ancients had secret, like, esoteric knowledge, which I guess is a little redundant, had esoteric knowledge that we don't have access to. It's the idea that we are fallen from some natural state of grace in which we knew incredible truths. It's a pretty common staple of conspiracy theories and beliefs is that we had some sacred truth, some knowledge, some thing that we have fallen from grace from. It's pretty common.
Serpentine sexual energy opens a ring or portal of light. Many Egyptian gods walk around with this ring of serpentine energy above their heads.
That's Ra, it's the sun. It's the sun! It's the fucking sun!
A ring...
Shut up about the sun! Shut up about the sun!
Full of collected sexual energy which fuels the awakening of their inner eye. The symbol I want to focus on...
For someone who's so, like, talking about symbolism, I'm surprised you don't even know that Ra symbol is the sun, because sun god...
most, since it resembles Sonic's symbol the most, is the Zoroastrian symbol of the god Ahura Mazda from the ancient Iranian religion, a symbol representing the breaking out of the matrix through awakening. The hidden message of Sonic is to gather your energy in order to break free from this matrix which lacks sentience. Look, Ahura Mazda is even seen holding a ring as he breaks free. The rings represent energy which fuel our higher state of consciousness, similar to how it powers Sonic's supersonic state. Sonic represents nature, while Eggman represents machinery and development.
Yeah, that's pretty on the nose. That's blatant. At least you got that right. That's good. He understands the nature versus industry automation theme. So that's good. I don't think it could possibly be more blatant, but like, he's there. I'll give him points for that.
And so the symbolism of a ring and wings signify breaking free from the matrix. This whole game is a play on the then growing debate between environmentalists and developers.
The then growing debate, the mid-90s. No one talked about any environmental issues or anything about the environment before the mid-90s. When was the EPA? Oh yeah, under Nixon, the EPA became a thing. My bad. So funny.
Prophet Zoroaster founded Zoroastrianism. He declared that one God, Ahura Mazda, the wise Lord, is the only eternal deity.
Profane Priestess says, me as I crutch my anthropology degree like a protective talisman.
And is qualitatively above all others. However, Ahura Mazda is assisted in governing the world by the 7 Amisha Spentas, the beneficial holy immortals. This main god with...
Has this guy heard of Awesome Possum? Did anyone else play Awesome Possum?
7 lesser...
You want some environmental stuff in a Sonic game? Play Awesome Possum. It's just a Sonic ripoff, but way, way, way heavier on the environmental themes.
Gods is reflected.
Awesome possums. I'm awesome.
In man's physiology, man, which is the god of his temple, his body, is assisted by 7 lesser gods, the 7 glands of the.
That doesn't like necessarily surprise me, Generty, because like you would think. I think we take for granted a little bit the fact that like the right and businesses are very big on denying climate change or putting money into bullshit think tanks that get out, you know, misinformation about this stuff. If you actually thought about it logically, if you were a business person who cared about the long-term like health of companies or your job, you would care about climate change because it's going to affect everyone on this planet, you know? Like, there have been economic, like, analysis of this talking about, unfortunately, talking about it in monetary terms, because people in charge listen to monetary terms, not so much the human terms a lot of the time, it seems. So they've shown that, like, hey, it's way cheaper and better for everyone if we tackle climate change stuff now and do our best to continue to try and switch over to like, greenhouse gas energy sources and stuff like that. But businesses don't do that. They're short-sighted. They're not thinking about the future because it's about short-term gain for individuals within a system as opposed to individuals operating as actual stewards of some sort of entity of the company. It's shareholders continually fucking people over by looking for next quarter gains so they can get out before the next sucker comes in, before the company explodes. I don't know. Sorry, I'm off on a whole thing now, but it's just annoying. It's annoying that with climate change it's any sort of partisan issue. It shouldn't be. Like, legitimately, this should be the one thing and everyone on the planet's like, hey, we hate each other a lot of the time, but if we want to keep hating each other, we really better fix this so we don't all fucking die and civilization doesn't collapse. But apparently we can't even agree on that. So, fun.
System, which always seek to serve man by returning him to homeostasis. These 7 deities, and the number 7 is seen countlessly throughout all religious writings, such as the 7 seals of the Book of Revelations and the 7 footsteps of the Buddha blossoming into lotus flowers. These metaphors all personify man's 7 chakra system. We have inherent within us what sacred books mystify. We are the inspiration. This holy temple in which our spirit dwells is the inspiration of many cryptic writings. The game Sonic was heavily influenced by the politics of its time, the 1990s, where a spike in technology sparked heated debates and viewpoints of both environmentalists and developers. The opposing forces of nature and technology are forces that have been around since the beginning.
This same dichotomy and fight can be seen in the 90s seminal classic Biodome.
Since darkness and light have been around, there's nothing new under the sun, simply endless cycles where the only difference is the rearranging of the same atoms and molecules. The rearranging of these atoms cause the same things to manifest and express themselves in a reshuffled manner, experienced in various
Sorry, this is just feeling very masturbatory to me at this point.
order. To simplify what I'm saying, think of a song. Now think of all of its musical notes separated and placed in a different order. There
That would be a different song.
are no new notes within the song.
That would be like saying, take this book and all of the words in it and imagine them in a different order. Well, that would be a different book.
Yet it is a completely new song. This is how the song of the earth varies through the ages, playing the same notes in various order, and endless variations of rhythm, tempo, pitch, and so on.
What is he trying to say materially here? Just what, that history repeats itself? That the earth is made of matter, and therefore that same matter takes many forms? Sure. Yes? Okay?
These variations bring about the different ages. Ages which give physical birth to specific experiences based on their vibration. The golden age is golden because the energy or spirit behind the physical layer is golden in nature.
Okay, so he's trying to essentialize subjective historical time periods that he deems as good or bad and giving them some sort of essentialist quality that gives them that. It's just not just that we are looking back retroactively and sort of labeling an era as a certain thing because of a variety of like material and historical realities of the time period and the people who lived there. No, there is some essential energy that exists there that causes it. There's a single causality. It's not just a culmination of a lot of different things that we go, oh, that period was going pretty well. No, to him there is some singular quality that they have that causes them to be that. Huh. Okay. Wrong, of course, but interesting. Interesting.
Nature. A pleasant and peaceful energy.
Again, conspiracies, a lot of them exist for people to simplify the world, to justify things they already believe. And for some reason, it seems like for him, the idea that there is a simple, singular thing, in fact, his worldview about this, like, pineal gland semen retention stuff, he believes that that is key to happiness. So basically all of this feels like a justification for him to say the world would be a perfect and great place in homeostasis if only people would listen to me and not come. Again, I know that's, like, funny. It's funny. I know my community makes me laugh too a lot of the time. Haha, come. But, like, taking a step back from how humorous it is that this is absurd, I don't know how to explain it. It's not an uncommon delusion. You see this. There's a reason that, like, this no-fap stuff and sort of the weird spiritual side of this no-fap stuff, you see it around the internet, usually around November. Of course, there are people who just do the No Nut November thing just for fun, or just like to take a break from jerking it or whatever, which, hey, great, don't care what people do. The problem is the people who make it some sort of spiritual thing, it has become a religious experience that not only is about their personal feelings, but the material well-being of the world. Their thing is so important to them that it has become the only thing. So to him, golden ages, which never really exist, but, you know, in his head, what he perceives to be golden ages are golden specifically because people were doing what he thinks is best. It justifies all of his beliefs. And I assume he just likes Sonic the Hedgehog, which is why he's using Sonic.
It's clear that we live in the dark ages. As humanity,
Is it clear?
we're dumbed down so bad.
Why do people not believe the same thing I do? Why do people not have the same worldview as me? We must be in a dark age. That's an interesting cope. Again, I'm not saying that to be mean. It's just, like, fascinating to me the lengths people go. It's incredible.
That we are now dependent upon technology.
This is a real ending in a Sonic game. Start at 2 minutes, 5 seconds. Let's see. It's a fan game. Is this Sonic.exe? Oh, no. This is the Game Gear one. Oh, Game Gear Sonic 2. Someone beat Game Gear Sonic 2? Yeah, for those who don't know, regular masturbation in people with prostates and stuff, it actually decreases your chances of prostate cancer. So, like, I'm not telling anyone what to do. It's your body, do what you want. But it is a little scary to imagine the number of people who might end up suffering from prostate cancer because they fell into some worldview that made them believe there was something evil or wrong with them doing a completely normal human bodily activity, you know? The Game Gear perspective, the camera is so close. There's not enough room on either side of Sonic for this game. Terrible. Wait, is Tails dead? Is Tails dead? Tails is in the stars. Happy ending. It's a shame. I like Tails. Miles didn't deserve this.
Slaves to it. Technology itself is not.
Does that mean King Charles didn't jerk off enough? I actually don't know what kind of cancer he was diagnosed with. Is King... I know there were rumors, because I know that King Charles is big on the homeopathy, like, woo-woo alternative medicine nonsense. I hate the term alternative medicine. It implies it's medicine. It's not medicine. Alternative, quote, medicine, end quote, it's not medicine. He has testicle cancer. Okay. There were rumors that he might not want to do chemo because he's, like, against modern medicine, aka medicine. There's no way he actually, like, dies because of that, right? I don't know. It's just... I know people are irrational, but it's scary for me to think and realize... How do I put this? My experience of how I understand conspiracy theories and how people believe them, not just conspiracy theories, but the psychological makeup of conspiracy and how people believe delusional things. The more I've learned about it, the scarier it gets. Because when I first started doing this years ago, and of course I've been doing stuff similar to this for like a decade, but I really got into the conspiracy stuff like four years ago or so, 3 or 4. Just found it interesting. I had a much narrower view of what a conspiracy theory was, and who believed them, and why. And then it became expanded to like, okay, maybe there's a certain percentage of the population that, I don't know, is more susceptible. And then I decided, oh wait, no, that's not really the case. There are material factors. Finikagami says, damn it, Twitch, what happened? Did something happen? Let me know. I didn't get any warnings, so if the stream cut off, tell me so I can fix it. Although I guess you wouldn't hear me then. Not to you? Okay. Then as I went on, I realized, okay, it's not so much that some people are more prone than others, though there is an element of that. It more has to do with people being in rough situations. Sort of how people get pulled into cults, because there's a similarity in the psychology behind cults and conspiracies, because cults are sort of an organization of people who believe a centralized conspiracy theory. It's more complicated than that, but there's a good portion of cult stuff that involves curating a mythology, and that mythology usually involves conspiratorial beliefs. So I went from thinking a small amount of people maybe are more susceptible to some people might be more susceptible, but anyone can be susceptible under the right conditions because, you know, if you're sick or poor or desperate, you're going to be more open to listen to out there ideas, it seems. But even then, I had this belief that in certain positions, people might have enough people telling them otherwise to get them to not believe this stuff. The horrifying thing is not necessarily to me that your random neighbor or guy at your work or your uncle or aunt believes some crazy conspiracy theory. What's horrifying to me is the fact that it doesn't matter if you're, you know, desperate and living paycheck to paycheck or even living on the street, or if you're the richest man in the world or a literal king. Everyone is susceptible to this. There is no position in the world that is going to protect you from your own mind failing you. Elon Musk, King Charles, these people are all over the goddamn place. They are in positions of power. This has gotten worse. It's deeply, deeply concerning, not just about the general population, yourself, and people you know, but actively that a large portion of people in charge of the world are delusional. Steve Jobs, another good example. Steve Jobs had a very treatable form of pancreatic cancer with something like an 80% survival rate. But he ended up not getting the medical treatment and instead went and did alternative health shit, ate a bunch of fruit, and thought it would cure him. It didn't. He died. I don't know. It's just concerning. Is there anything that you can do systemically to push back against people in power with absurd beliefs? Because you can't govern or make decisions appropriately when you don't have an accurate view of the world. And conspiracy theories actively insulate you from having an accurate view of the world. Anyway. Fenekagami says, prostate havers have to release their junk, otherwise not only will it hurt, your body will literally make you. Yeah, wet dreams are a thing. Fenekagami says, Twitch wasn't letting me send bits for a while. Ah, well, I'm glad that Twitch is behaving now. And Marcus Drake says, I had a client who was convicted for harassment because he was encouraging a neighbor to do the Steve Jobs fruitarian diet to, quote, starve her breast cancer. He thought he was being prosecuted for telling the truth, not, you know, pushing bullshit on a woman battling cancer. Oof. Jesus fucking Christ.
Not evil. It is the intent behind those wielding it that must be observed. The purpose or goal of Sonic is to collect power-ups throughout the levels which empower him to overthrow this plague of machinery that Dr. Robotnik harnesses and to set the captives free. Sonic is anthropomorphic, meaning he is an animal possessing human characteristics.
Harold Elberman says, is it a conspiracy theory to say that he might be getting it whether he wants it or not because the firm, the name given to the monarchy, is an institution and the people who manage the monarchy combined understand basic medication even if he wants to be a dumbass? I'm pretty jaded, but even I find it a little hard to believe that any doctor would knowingly give someone medication without their knowledge. Like, it happens, I'm sure it happens, but generally doctors take the Hippocratic Oath or similar oaths seriously, and also, you can't really hide getting chemo. Like, you can't be receiving chemo and not know it. Like, you would know. You would be like, something terrible is happening to me. It's chemo. But you would have to know. Like, there's no version of that where you would, you know.
He personifies the individual that seeks freedom from modern entanglements. The sad part about the Matrix, which Dr. Robotnik builds...
You mean not publicizing he's getting it? Oh, he might do that. I don't know. Either way, my concern is him... Here's my concern. Is him getting chemo or whatever the actual medical treatment for this cancer is, and then on top of that doing whatever his woo-woo bullshit is, but not mentioning the actual medicine and only talking about, like, oh, yes, my diet or whatever, you know, saved him. I don't want him to use this as an excuse to try and push his woo-woo beliefs. You know? There are enough monarchists out there who'd probably believe him.
Is the animals which he enslaves and holds captive to use as batteries fueling his inventions. They told us this.
Is it batteries? I kind of assumed they were like the brain, sort of. Yes, Matrix on the bingo card.
In the film Matrix, that we are batteries that fuel the Matrix system around us.
Doing a Joe Rogan? Yes, doing a Joe Rogan, basically.
The animals captured, which he uses in order to run his machines, represent the voluntary enslavement of humans, which help make this system we live within run smoothly. And so to break free, we must collect our God-given energy in the form of sexual energy, cause it to rise and empower us to break free from this matrix. This system that has us running around in an endless rat.
So the Animatrix, but instead of running so fast you escape the Matrix, you get so horny you escape the Matrix. Alright. Benny Kagami says, I think that not only improving education, but standardizing it'll push back against conspiracy. Teaching the history of conspiracy will help too. A lot of why conspiracy takes root, not only due to lack of education, but also because people believe the questions are new and not ancient debunked BS. Yeah, a focus on critical thinking skills and how to spot and avoid fallacies would, I think, be helpful. I learned that a little in school, which was helpful. Like when my civics class, we had a unit that was over, like, fallacies, bandwagon fallacy, and stuff like that, but I don't know how common that is.
Race. This is done through detachment and independence from the system. Not going around and breaking shit, protesting, and acting like an ape.
I'm sorry, that felt incredibly racist.
When we stop giving them our energy, they grow weaker because their system requires our time and energy in order to be sustained. We are the foundational pillars, and as we walk away with our own pure objectives in mind, their system crumbles. As more begin to take back their energy and time and place it into natural and sustainable matrices, they lose power and their system shuts down. The story of Sonic is the story of setting nature free, of detaching from the programming, taking your energy back and harnessing it into your own benefit and for the benefit of those around you. Sonic personifies the pineal gland, and when he turns supersonic, he becomes the light of the world. When we awaken our third eye through harnessing our energy, we become the light of the world as well. We begin to cause shadows and darkness to dissipate just by our mere presence. It's ironic that the name of the antagonist is Eggman. In nature, eggs create life.
He wasn't called Eggman until later. He's Dr. Robotnik.
Ancients said that we lived within the
It's an America versus Japan thing.
egg of life, the nurturing womb of life. In this case, it
Oh god, the egg was a short story. It's not literally true. I like that story too, but it's not real.
is an absolute inversion. The eggs are
Is this what happens when you do LSD? God, I hope not. Captain Squid says, Princess Sally is like half the reason I'm a furry, and even I think this guy needs to dial it back a bit.
devices he creates imprisons and siphons the energy of its captives. We see that the rings are also portals to different dimensions where Sonic can level himself up. In much the same way, when we begin to collect our sexual energy, it gives us access to higher states of consciousness through a Kundalini rising and activation of the third eye. The third eye is the eye allowing us to see into the spiritual realm through its abilities such as clairvoyancy and so on. Sonic remains in a supersonic form for as long as he has rings. This state uses the energy of the rings. When the energy runs out, he returns to normal. The same concept is seen in the Legend of Zelda series item, the Lens of Truth, which shapes like the third eye. As long as
it's just an eye! What do you mean it's like a third eye? It's like an eye!
The lens is fueled by this energy within magical jars, Link is able to see aspects within the game that only the lens can reveal.
Are you gonna do They Live? Is he gonna reference the movie They Live?
The third eye is the lantern to the spiritual world, and sexual energy is the oil that keeps it lit. The pineal gland is revered the world over in the form of the pine cone. In this Catholic
What? You think the pine cone
Revered-
imagery is the pineal gland?
the world over in the form
Link is like 12 in that game, come on. Oh yeah.
of the pine cone. In this Catholic depiction of the third eye, rather than opened wings, we see
What?
peacocks on either side. When the peacock opens its tail feathers, we see many various eyes. This is also seen in
He's being tricked by pareidolia. He's literally falling for the peacock's defense mechanism.
pine cones, where their shape resemble an accumulation of many eyes to make up the whole. These symbols have been chosen purposefully for the fact that they reveal the all-seeing aspect of the spiritual inner eye. This is accomplished by condensing multiple various perspectives into a single unified vision. The power-ups in the game are held within televisions. This
I thought they were computer monitors.
reminds me of how truth that helps liberate us is hidden within television programs, truth in movies, and lies in the media. It is only through an awoken pineal gland that we can decipher the hidden esoteric messages intertwined in their narrative. That is why two people will see the same thing, and one is able to grasp the deeper hidden meaning, while the other is simply entertained. When defeating robotic enemies, we see captured animals run free. Dr. Robotnik enslaves these animals in order to use them to power his army. In a similar way, our souls are stuck within these devices we hold when we become screen zombies. We all have those family members that believe every word that comes out of news programs. Government broken down is the governing of the mente. Mente is the Latin root for the English word mind.
Sorry, there's a lot of bad etymology.
Mass control of the mind is gained through television programs designed to program minds through the swaying of emotions. By keeping people in a constant state of fear through propaganda, the people become weak and submissive. I'm not suggesting that we turn supersonic, go to the streets in a protest, and break shit. We break free from tyranny by taking our energy back and creating something worthwhile with it. As a collective, as more of us begin putting our energy towards a sustainable and free
Captain Squid says, as long as we're stating random facts, the mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell.
life,
Mitosis is...
that is when it will begin to manifest. One of the most soul-sucking practices we participate in is the one where we find a hiding place, because subconsciously we know what we're about to do is wrong. That practice, which makes us weak in the knees, is shameful. When we break free from being slaves to the machine, we can then take our energy and create
I couldn't parse that.
something beautiful with it, each according to their own gifts and talents. When we break free from the programming, the slaves become the masters of their own minds. When Neo detached himself from the programming of the Matrix, that is when things got real. When those countless hours wasted away on excessive scrolling are taken back, that is when we become powerful and clear-minded. With clarity of mind from getting away from all that noise pollution, we can harness and focus our energy into something constructive and intentional, which benefits ourselves and the people around us. When we get enslaved by technology, we become a cog in the machine, and like the animals in Dr. Robotnik's machinery, we begin to serve the purposes of others. The way Sonic dies is by Robotnik and his army attacking and causing Sonic to lose his rings, his energy source. The way we become
Robotnik beats Sonic by releasing all of his sexual energy. Okay.
weak and pathetic in life is by our sexual energy being depleted. The way we become weak and pathetic in life is by our sexual energy being siphoned through pornography and
So
the
Robotnik has to defeat Sonic by beating all of the sexual energy out of him.
hedonistic lifestyle being promoted, which is an attack on our energy. Sexual energy is our vril energy. It is the sap of our
Real energy. That's some Nazi alien shit. Fun fact.
tree of life, or spine and
Toreador says, oh no, I'm inexplicably inflating again.
Nervous system. This is the very energy that will cause you to blossom and become fruitful in all areas of life. And so we must become masters of our desires and not the other way around.
You must become a master debater. Captain Squid says, I thought this was how Eggman beat Sonic.
You're too late, Sonic. I am now forklift certified. Oh my god! Oh my god! What the fuck?
When we allow our sexual desires to rule over us, we become slaves to its every fleeting whim, which leads to our destruction. We become a withered tree whose sap is gone.
Scott C. Smith, thanks
In
for
such a
following.
state, we are easily manipulated. There are many forms of matrices around us. To simplify the concept, a matrix is simply a web that someone weaves in order to siphon your energy. There are many webs we need to break free of. From emotionally draining relationships to soul-draining 9-to-5s we hate. The whole purpose of this world, of Mother Nature,
So
is
to him, a matrix is just things he doesn't like. Interesting. Benekagami says, my guy, you're a furry in denial. Just get a furry suit, and I'm sure a lot of this anxiety will go away. Scott, thanks for your Prime subscription.
gain wisdom. This world is a learning experience. So, like Sonic, explore nature and collect from it the lessons it has to offer.
Is this guy just a secret Nazi furry? I don't know how secret either is. Whew. Well, that certainly is something. Oh, he has one for Dragon Ball Z, too. He has a what I assume is basically the same video, but, you know, with him. So that's fun. Let's move on, though, shall we? Evil Gina's here to be offensive, so that's fun.
Oh, Canada, you pedo-Satanist losers.
Satanism on the bingo card.
All legacy political parties are involved in pedogate. You are implicated, you are implicated if you vote for any one of those parties.
At least it doesn't seem like she's voting, so that's good.
Like the NDP, the Green Party, the Liberal Party, and the Conservative Party of Canada. All four are legacy political parties involved with pedogate. You can't even get into the club unless you do.
I feel like you're losing you're losing everything here. I feel like if you're gonna do a bit, do the bit.
Child sacrifice. So far, the only one that seems to not be involved is Maxime Bernier from the People's Party of Canada, PPC. If I find out that Maxime and the PPC are involved, for sure I'll go after them too. You insane nut.
Tori says, RCMP, interesting theory, comrade. Now back to the syrup mines.
Cases to think it was just a political dirty trick to say that. Anyone who turns their back on children being raped, tortured, and sacrificed is not only a filthy pig and a piece of shit, but you are implicated. You are implicated, and you must be held accountable. Now that you've been put on notice, anything more that you do after this to vote for any one of those people or push them or ignore this information or call it crazy or insane or take your meds, you are involved. That's called aiding and abetting. That's against.
Peridona says, kill your darlings. You should have stopped this bit quite a while back. No kidding.
the law, and you're being put on notice right now. There's no way you can get into the club at all unless you get involved in satanic child sacrifice. Canada is completely taken over by the CCP, the Chinese Communist Party, and Satanist child sacrifice. The Nazis.
That certainly was a video. Hanekagami says, I find it interesting that a lot of these people got into these conspiracies out of a desire to not be controlled, but in reality, stuff like junk retention makes you easy or to manipulate as it increases anxiety and other negative emotions. I assume that was, you know, I know what you meant by the junk retention thing. It's about a sense of control more than actual control. It's about a sense of control. Overthought says, this is the worst thing Canada has exported since Canadian geese.
Transgenderism.
Oh, this is transphobic ASMR, by the way. Warning, I am a trans person myself. So, like, you know, not fun, but it is a little funny. So, warning.
Transgenderism opens portals to demon possession.
I'll have you know, I've not been possessed by demons. Not a single demon has possessed me. I feel ripped off.
We choose our genders before we are born.
Can I talk to the manager? Just a thought.
To try to change them after we're born.
Can you cancel it out with some trans-positive ASMR? I'll do my best. Are my portals open?
To defile God.
I'm defiling God. That's a bummer, but like, me doing stuff with my own body is none of God's business, so like, I think that's a him problem.
And defile ourselves. You chose your gender before you were born.
Apparently, Spirit Me was very confused or checked a wrong box or something, because I assure you, I'm not thrilled with the result. Tori says, no demon possession. Damn, girl, you gotta get out more. I was at a party last weekend and there were a lot of open portals and lots of demons coming in them.
You chose your parents. You chose your...
I promise you that's not the case. I wouldn't have chose my abusive, terrible parents.
Lessons. Embrace them. If you're a male and you have a penis, you are a male. Be a man. Learn what that is like. That's your soul growth. We live many lifetimes as a male.
Ooh, a reincarnation on the bingo card.
And then we transition into a female. Those are often the times when people are a bit confused in between lifetimes. 1 or 2 lifetimes and we're up and running as a female. Then we live many lifetimes as a female and we come back as a male. We live all the races. We live the good guy, we live the bad guy. Earth is soul school. The Cabal knows this.
Again, this is the egg. This is the short story, The Egg again.
It's you who doesn't. They have convinced you because what they really want is satanic child sacrifice. Once you are willing to give your child up, to defile God, to try to change their gender after they're born, you open portals to demon possession, and you bring in the dark, you bring in the demons.
Stone Corbell says, hey Gina, not Gina, evil Gina, but sure. Hey Gina, what if you have androgen insensitivity disorder where you have XY chromosomes but not respond at all to testosterone and don't develop male secondary sexual characteristics? You lost her by androgen, so she's gonna go back to weird whispering now.
You are doing your child no favor at all. Let your child live in the light of God. To be what God and that child, before he or she was even born, decided to be. It's okay to be you. Be an effeminate male. Be a tomboy girl.
She's never talked to a single trans person in her life that she knew was trans, huh? She's never had an actual honest discussion. Fenikagami says, fun fact, Twitch won't let you call semen retention by its other name. That's pretty funny.
But you came for that experience. You can't change it after. The Cabal knows this. It's you who doesn't. They are satanic. They do child
Satanic on the bingo card.
You are the sacrifice.
Well, that was terrible. She's trying to do terrible... I don't know if it's drop shipping. I don't know what the fuck she's doing. But she's trying to sell stuff in a pretty cringy way, which is pretty funny.
Michelle Antilli here. Come and visit my store. Wear your memes. VoxPopuli.store. VoiceOfThePeople.store. FearIsTheVirus.ca. A few domains point to it. Fear is the Virus. I've got over 70 logos. More in the making. On thousands and thousands of merchandise from kitchen and home and hardware and shoes and hats and you name it. Take it to the streets. Wear your memes. They're gorgeous. I've created the backgrounds and everything. It's all over print, so it's a little different than everybody else. You're gonna love it.
Lilac Rosenberg says, Aura Cleanse. Watch more content recommended just for you. Let's see.
What's up, cocksuckers? Welcome back to another Aura Cleanse. Your aura...
What's up, cocksuckers?
Your aura is so fucking disgusting right now. What's up, cocksuckers? Welcome back to another Aura Cleanse. Your aura is so fucking disgusting right now.
What's up, cocksuckers? That's how I should start every stream. I have to use the bathroom real quick, so I'll be right back. I'm gonna pee, and then I'll be back. So behave. Behave. Here, the guest host while I'm gone will be this, I don't know if you can even see this. Let me see what you can see. It'll be this globe. So if anyone has any questions for the globe, do that, I guess. That was very enlightening, Globe. Thank you. So what is next? What are next? What was this one? Alright, let's try this one. This is a BitChute video with Juan O'Savin and another guy. So let's check it out. For those who don't know, this is like MAGA conspiracy theory related, stuff like that. Usually has connections to QAnon, etc. Harold Elberman says, Happy Mardi Gras, y'all. I didn't realize it was Mardi Gras. That makes sense, though.
All right, folks, I'm with Juanito. Juanito, can you hear me all the way down there? Juanito.
Hey, what's going on there, bro?
Well, what's going on there with you? I'm not going to say where you're at. Can you show some of the scenery, maybe?
Well, yeah, it's a beautiful actually out here. A lot of people out with swim shorts and all sorts of things. So we had quite a few whales today, and
Wano Savin is apparently live streaming from the Antarctic. He's on a cruise or something.
beautiful day. Anytime you get this kind of clarity, it's pretty amazing. People have no idea what this part of the world is.
It's always so funny to me when you see right-wing figures on their shows smoking cigars as some sort of virtue signal. Like, have you noticed that? It's a social indicator. I'm like you. I'm manly. I'm smoking a cigar or drinking whiskey. You know what I mean?
Is like actually.
Sorry, my chair is slowly. Can you hear that? My chair is not holding. Okay, I think we hit the bottom. Jesus Christ.
A place that one and a the continent.
I hope we get
the
breaking up a little bit.
Is 1.5 times, or 1.5 miles on average. Lots of places too. But Putin, and one of the things that was interesting about the interview, and I'm sure everybody caught that, is that Putin describes how he knows that he hasn't got to worry about or deal with
many of the conspiracy theorists, of course, who are adamant that you can't ever trust any government ever, have just been eating up the Putin interview, by the way, the Tucker Carlson Putin interview. Because, of course, you can trust Vladimir Putin. If you can't trust a merciless dictator who's been in charge of his country for decades, who can you trust?
This administration in D.C., because they're not running things. Did you catch that, Nino?
I caught
he was
that,
very
and
clear.
What I also caught, Juanito, was the fact that Biden held an emergency press conference right at the same time.
Well, and of course, that was about, the Justice Department saying that...
I didn't watch the whole interview. I saw some clips, but it was pretty much exactly what I thought it was going to be. Vladimir Putin self-aggrandizing and pushing propaganda, and he still made fun of Tucker Carlson. The fact that Tucker Carlson thought that he was going to get treated well is so funny to me.
He wasn't coherent enough, not together enough to warrant prosecuting. So imagine that. Here he is.
Yeah, Knowledge Fight's good. Knowledge Fight, if they did an episode on it, check it out.
Alleged lead.
Sovereign Citizen website? Thank you for the link. Are you ready to awaken? Let's see, put this under Sovereign Citizens. Done. Thank you. Where were we? It's one of these. This one? This one. This one.
Leader of free world, and then he's not coherent enough to...
You had a friend who cited Russia Today as an unbiased source?
Actually take...
Are you familiar that that's a government run? Like, that's a Russian government agency.
To trial on his handling of this evidence. He wouldn't be able to defend himself coherently.
They're getting
so
ready
you have to kind of wonder that was...
They're getting ready for him to step down, aren't they, Juanito?
How did he make fun of Tucker? Made fun of him for getting denied entrance to, like, the FBI. Made fun of him for not knowing history. Just lots of since we just got done watching The Pickup Artist, kind of what you would call negging. A lot of backhanded statements.
Well, I think, as we've talked about for the last year, over a year ago, I said the problem for the Democrats, actually almost 2 years ago, the problem for the Democrats is that, like that Roman punishment, where if you had been convicted of murdering somebody, you were shackled to the corpse, neck to neck wrist to wrist, waist to waist, leg to leg, and you couldn't get rid of them. When they were unable to move Pelosi into the White House to replace Biden because they got blocked coming up on the Christmas break.
What?
On the little scheme.
Were they under the impression that there was some sort of contention for her to take over for Biden? She's not even the vice president. What?
Mind that put them in a horrible bind. And now, how can they? Who would they bring forward to run as the president if for some reason he was deemed not able to, make this next move? But more importantly, I think again. Let me just try to get people to think a little bit out of the box for a second. If Putin is correct and the people running Washington, D.C. are not the ones that you see visibly, and he was talking past them, the American people, what happened there? You saw a break in the communications system. We're not being lied to as much as we're not even getting allowed to be in the conversation comfortably.
The immediate belief in Russian propaganda. Fucking wild. Okay. How's Chris been?
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you may be. CC here, Chris, from New York, Westchester County. It's 1:30, 24. Okay. There's a couple things I have a problem with. All right, and that is gravity, of course. Every flat earther has.
You have a problem with gravity. Good start. I think he's a little quiet. Let me turn him up, actually. Daima Oni-chan with 24 months, 2 years. Happy anniversary. Says 2 years in a row. Thank you for all the streams, Hannah, and to the Stanas for being a great and friendly community. Well, thank you for being a part of it. I appreciate it, and all of you. Thank you very much for being here. Seriously.
Is that a problem? Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you may be. CC here, Chris, from New York, Westchester County. It's 1:30, 24. There's a couple
yeah, staggering levels of hypocrisy for believing Putin. That makes sense.
Things I have a problem with. All right, and that is gravity, of course. Every flat earther has that problem. Now, my problem with gravity is if you ever been to the Dead Sea?
No, I don't like where this is going, though. I feel like this is going to be about buoyancy.
See, I've never been out there. I'm sure somebody has been out there, and apparently you can just float out in the middle of the ocean out there.
I mean, you can float in the middle of the ocean anywhere, but in the Dead Sea it's particularly easy because of its high salt content.
And just not move, and just float. Now, where does the formula come to figure out the force of gravity in a pool of water? In an ocean.
Buoyancy. The equation you're thinking of is the equation for buoyant force. Buoyancy.
Of water of the Dead Sea, and you're not being brought down. Well, you're going to say that's salt. Salt will.
Yes, salt. The concentration of salt in the water changes the water's buoyancy, or your buoyancy within it, because the actual density of the material is different than if it wasn't salt water.
No, that doesn't make any sense.
Like the concentration of material within it
all?
Is different.
Gravity doesn't... Are you telling me gravity is very selective on what it's pulling down?
Again, when we're talking about resting in a fluid like that, it has to do with buoyancy.
Well, obviously it is.
It's not being selective, it's just that the amount that force pulls on you is going to be different. The amount of force is the same, but how it's applied is different based on the material that you're actually within, because the fluid is of a different density, and its density versus your own is going to determine your buoyancy within that fluid. Anyway.
because we can go into the butterflies and insects and all that, but I've already brought that up. What about mercury? Give me a pool of mercury. Okay? I can put a 110-pound anvil on that pool of mercury, and it'll float like a piece of wood.
If the density volume of the weight was lower than the volume of mercury you were placing it on? I understand what he's saying, but I think his specific example you would need to figure out exactly how, again, dense versus volume, and compare it to the mercury and make sure it's enough, you know. I get what he's saying. I get what he's saying.
Where does gravity take place there?
Again, he doesn't understand that multiple forces can take place on something at the same time. Like, gravity is not the only thing affecting our position or what we are doing. It is one of many things that is involved, and he seems to have difficulty with a multifaceted explanation for an event. Captain Squid says he seems to have personal knowledge of mercury. Perhaps this would explain some things. I mean, people Chris's age in school, they'd literally just give them mercury and put it on their desk and have them play with it with bare hands. Like, my parents did that. They told me about it. They didn't know how dangerous mercury was until later. Literal video of an anvil and mercury? Cool beans.
Of course, I'm kidding. All that oxide. Making horseshoes and stuff, back when we had horses. So,
yeah, I've
set it in
actually
here and see
seen
if
this
it floats.
before, and it floats because of, again...
It doesn't seem to want to stay upright. I'll just let it tip over. There it is. It's floating. Look at that.
The iron anvil floats because mercury has a density nearly twice that of iron.
That makes sense. Density per volume unit is higher.
No, that doesn't make any sense. Does that compute? No, it doesn't. What about the sun? On July 8th, 99% of Earth is illuminated with the sun.
99% of people living on Earth are illuminated with the sun, not 90% of the Earth, because that's physically impossible. It so happens, on the date that he's talking about, populated areas of the Earth are pretty much all illuminated. But again, that's a very different thing. Fennec Kagami says, Chris, the reason gravity doesn't pull you, to the center of the Earth is also buoyancy. Solids are so dense, gravity can't pull you through them. Buoyancy and gravity are ever-present, somewhat opposing, but relative forces.
See, now that doesn't make any sense on a spinning wet ball at all. And how could it do it on the same exact date every year for all time?
I mean, if people lived in more places, it wouldn't be the case. It has to do with the fact that people live in specific areas of the world for habitability reasons, and those areas happen on a certain day to be mostly illuminated.
The North Star never moves.
It does.
Wake the fuck up. Please, people. Thank you for subbing, and thank you for viewing my videos. Let me be a part of your life.
Yikes, he's not doing good.
Fucking camera has so many. Alright.
He has been recording in his kitchen a lot lately.
Good morning, good evening, good
How
afternoon.
do you think it works in his worldview? There's a thing within flat earthers where they will just say the word buoyancy. They'll say, it's not gravity, it's buoyancy. Of course, anyone who knows how buoyancy works is going to immediately see the issue, because if you're calculating buoyancy, you need to know the gravitational, like, constant. C is like, or the gravitational constant is like, G is a part of the buoyancy formula. It's a necessity to know, but flat earthers think they can just say buoyancy and it's an answer. Have I seen this?
In my super fundamentalist church, we did not speak in tongues, but we were open to the idea of speaking in tongues, and that Sunday morning, I sort of knew I was going to do it because I'm dramatic. And in the middle of the service, I said out loud, Shamala Hamala, And everyone around me was like, oh my God, it's happening. And everyone started saying Shamala Hamala. And I was sort of like, you guys are just copying what I'm saying. But now we're all crying, saying Shamala Hamala. And my pastor said it was the language that angels spoke. And I imagined the scene in heaven where the angels were like, what's up, Jesus? Shamala Hamala.
Dominic Starlight, thank you. Thank you for the follow, and thank you for the compliment. I appreciate it.
Where maybe
Shamala Hamala.
CC here, Chris. From
Do
New
you even know where all the bats are?
York, Westchester County. It's 12/10/23. It's a Sunday. A day of worship. Okay. I bring out my Bible because I've been reading it. I've been reading the Christian Bible lately. And I have quite a few terms that I'd like to enhance on. However, let's take a look at something that I've been interested in finding out about. And that would be information about the Black Rock. Yeah.
You've talked about this goddamn rock. For those who haven't seen me cover Chris before, Chris is a flat earther. So he thinks, the world is like a flat disc. And he thinks that compasses work because in in the Arctic, which he thinks is the center of the Earth on a disc, he thinks there's a giant magnetic mountain, and that's why compasses point north, which is wrong, and also a misunderstanding of how compasses work generally. Compasses don't just point north, they align themselves with the magnetic field of the Earth. So compasses simultaneously point north and south by aligning themselves.
The North Pole, the highest mountain that's out there. Okay, so let's look through Google. Okay. Yeah.
Thanks for showing the phone.
I'm going to use Google. I usually don't use that for a search engine, but for now, let's have some fun. Okay.
I'm not even sure if he knows there's a difference between the geographic and magnetic North Pole.
So, highest mountain.
Do you know where the bats are? Where are the bats? We're all asking. Everyone's asking. Where are the bats?
On Earth. Yeah, it just pops right up. Okay. Wikipedia has the highest mountain, generally, Mauna Loa. That's 13,678 feet and 4,169 metric miles for you guys out in the UK.
Metric miles?
Let's look at the 5 tallest mountains.
Kilometers. You mean kilometers?
In the US. Mount Everest, of course. Oh, it's a beautiful picture, isn't it? Look at that. That's like the picture I took this morning. Oh, look at the red sky. That's nice. Okay, but you see, there's Mount Everest
Metric
again.
miles are a thing 10 kilometers long. I don't think he meant that.
You idiots who scaled this mountain. I don't know what your deal is and why you do this. But good luck if you get to the
Black
top.
Rock, the name of the mountain in the story in the Mountain of Madness, I don't remember, but it is a thing. Like, you could Google the Black Rock and find this. It's not just a Chris thing, it is sort of a conspiracy theory thing in general. Some of it's based off old maps, like really, really, really old maps that, the kind of maps where they'd put, like, here there be sea monsters. That kind of map they would put at the north, this mountain, because it was hypothetical. No one had been to the Arctic yet, So it was just a thing they put there, and unfortunately, a lot of flat earthers think it is literal, and that people weren't just wrong and drawing stuff for funsies. No, they think that it's hidden from us, and that was the truth. That was too dangerous for people to know. Saint Sanguine, thanks for 9 months. Ooh, sub baby. This sub baby's name is going to be The Night Daughter. Sanguine made me think of the Night Mother. So the Night Daughter.
The mountain up there, and the atmospheric conditions are horrible because it's beyond. This is 28,000 feet above sea level, so I think air around 15,000 is not breathable. So you have to go through this 30-day process to climb this goddamn mountain. Oh, sorry about goddamn on Sunday. My fault. Okay. Shall we continue? I think we should. You see, I'm not finding anything about Mount Everest. I'm not finding anything about the tallest mountain in the world.
Because the one that you were thinking of doesn't exist. It's not real. The reason it's not showing up is because it is fictional.
This is what Google will tell you. So we're going to have to go into Google search and actually find out exactly how to find this mountain.
Wow, we're going to watch him do motivated, reasoning in real time. It won't tell me what I want, so let's tailor my search to bring up exactly what I want it to bring up.
Okay. All right, so let's go into here. This is just like explaining flat Earth to somebody, you know. Black Mountain. Black Rock Mountain. Okay. North Pole. Let's try to find that. See what that'll pull up.
He's doing it live. Fuck it, we'll do it live. I like that you hear the slow-ass types. The boomer type. One letter.
Nothing.
Saint Sanguine with 100 bits says, reminds me of the original name of the Blood Angel ship, the Grey Daughter. Ooh. Ominous.
Okay, so my question is that we can't even find any pictures of this.
Because it's not real, Chris! It's pretty suspicious we can't find any pictures of this fictional thing, I believe. Sus? Stone Corbell says, this is no different from people talking to AIs about demons and the AI going, oh yeah, I'm a demon, and going, oh my god, it's real! Yeah. People believe what they want to believe.
None. Nothing. Wikipedia, blog, YouTube, I mean, Black North Mountain found. I mean, everything has been hidden.
Or you're wrong!
Don't you seem to understand that? Everything has been hidden.
Absence of evidence isn't evidence. Like, he's literally being like, look it, I can't find this thing I'm trying to tell you is real. Doesn't that prove it's real?
From us.
I'm getting frustrated, but this is actually incredibly common. Once you get deep enough into a conspiracy theory, even evidence you're wrong will turn around and do the opposite. Evidence you are wrong will become evidence you are right, because it's all part of the conspiracy. Again, I know that seems like on the nose. It seems like so ridiculous. It sounds like some pop psychology bullshit thing someone made up. It isn't. It isn't. There are literally times when you will get so deep into some belief that evidence you are wrong only reconfirms to you that you are right. It sucks.
You'll never find your origin by searching anything at all on Google.
Is he aware there are other search engines? You could Bing it, or DuckDuckGo, Yahoo. Ask Jeeves is dead. There's gotta be other ones out there. Like, there are options.
Or anything else. That video I made yesterday. With my compass, which is crap I use it for the boat. But it doesn't make a difference. It always will show magnetic north.
And south. Again, it aligns itself with polarity. So when it is pointing north, it is also pointing south. Your compass is just as much pointing south as it is north.
Unfortunately, there is no magnetic south. So
there is, your compass points to it. Your compass points to it at the same time it's pointing towards magnetic north.
Why does the compass always point north?
Because it is aligning itself with the polarity of Earth's magnetic field.
Always, and it always will. No electricity at all needed. No batteries in your compass.
What do you mean no? It's electromagnetism. It's magnetism. Electromagnetism is the same force, so I get what you're saying. It's not electricity, but it is electromagnetism. It's just more the magnetism part.
It's a little water and a dial. And it'll always point north.
And south.
See, on a globe, that wouldn't work.
It does. You are currently on the globe.
The magnetic interior of the so-called imaginary planet would disrupt those waves.
It's literally the fact that we have a molten iron core is why we have a fucking magnetic field. He's talking about the thing about taking like a needle and magnetizing it and then putting it in like a cap with water. Does he understand that if he does that, he has to figure out which way is north and south? Because it'll point a direction, but which way is north and which way is south? Which end of the needle is the needle point that's pointing north? You would have to figure that out, Chris, because it's pointing at both!
So a compass would never work on a ball.
It does.
Or a spinning
Every compass you've ever used in your entire life is working on a ball right now.
wet ball. There's no way. It would be impossible. It would be impossible from China. China's up beneath me right now. It's underneath. That's China. They're underneath me.
I don't know if they're directly underneath you, but yes, they are on the opposite side of the sphere we are on.
And there's no way that their compass could work
You think compasses don't work in China?
on a spinning wet ball. It's impossible.
They do.
Okay, so I challenge any scientists out there to tell me, explain to me how a compass works on a spinning wet ball.
It aligns itself with the magnetic field of the Earth.
And I even hate to say planet. Ugh, that word is just so annoying, but these so-called scientists think we live on this. How does a compass work? See, it only works on a flat plane. It would have to be the highest mountain on a plane in order for us to point directly north, or the compass point directly north. I mean, this is like fucking 101. This is, I mean, I have so much shit to cover, and this is just nonsense. This is fucking nursery school as far as I'm concerned. A simple compass proves that the Earth is flat, that we live on a plane. And I'm sorry, I didn't do this. I didn't make this world. I'm just here living it and exposing the truth. All right, thank you for subbing, and thank you for viewing my videos, and let me be a part of your life.
Chris has trapped himself in a horrifying world of his own delusions. Which isn't great.
Right. Couple things with you. Spinning wet ball that you fucking think you live on. But it does prove a local sun.
Captain Squid says he doesn't really want to talk to a scientist because y'all be lying and making me pissed. And I don't want to talk to a scientist. Oh yeah, he's getting worse. Chris is continually degraded since we've started watching him a couple years ago.
Hey everybody. So I think I got some really good juice for you guys. There's a lot going on, and I find this to be very relevant because you're seeing Democrats actively trying to destroy the Constitution, and with the Green New Deal, they want to destroy many of these old Tartarian buildings.
What?
I mentioned that in my last video, and many seem to not really understand why the Constitution
Tartaria on the bingo card?
is so important and what makes it special. In this video, I want to present a thesis that will explain how the Constitution of the United States could be a Tartarian document from a past age that created the most beautiful system in which the people had control over the government. There are many pieces to cover.
Did the Tartarians also do the 3/5 compromise, or was that just our bad?
So let's get started. Shout out to KD on Stolen History for helping out with this info. You've heard me mention that many US cities were not founded on the dates that we are taught in history books and all that. These buildings are much older than we are led to believe, and we have a lot of evidence to support this. So we have this legend of this legendary town called Norumbega. And supposedly, it was this empire that was in North America before the history books teach us, and they don't really...
I'm assuming this is another time that there's an allegory or story or something that they have taken literally. This is the same guy that thought Paul Bunyan might be real. He seems to take folklore and other stories and assumes they are literally true.
They teach about this. It's supposedly just a legend. But what we have is this map from the 1540s that shows castles and European settlements in America, and this doesn't really fit the narrative. This is from 1540. So what are these buildings? So, and also, there's parts of this map that are missing. We only have some
Does he think that because there is a drawing of a castle on that map that it means there literally had to be a castle there? Okay.
Minutes left. But I found this whole
Castle drawings could mark settlements. They almost certainly did. He said this was from 40? Like, that's 50 years after Columbus comes to the New World. So by that point, there would have been, again, little outposts, ports, not huge ones, but these things would have been a thing. And if you're making a map, and you just need people to understand there's people here, a castle is a reasonable little symbol to use to be like, here's a settlement, here's a group of people, we landed here.
legend of Norumbega, very interesting.
I don't know. There's about 10,000 explanations for this that aren't his bullshit, is basically what I'm trying to get across. I have to use the bathroom again. I'm sorry I've had to pee so much this stream. Here, you... The host will be, Cauldron Holefield. This is Cauldron Holefield. Take it away, Cauldron. Tori says, as a furry, I hereby bestow upon Cece the honorary fursona of a Polish rooster. As it hath been said, so shall it be written. Oh. Oh, good. Chromatic Cuttlefish says, bingo, I think. Send me a link to your card and I will take a look.
And what I'm trying to propose is, what if there was a empire that was made up of the northeastern cities and states that we know of, like New York City, Philadelphia, Washington, D.C.
Well, you would need evidence of that.
And most of these were actually some type of Tartarian empire that was within the United States.
Let's take a look at the bingo card. Correlation isn't causation. Transphobia, transvestigation. We actually haven't had transphobia, transvestigation yet. We had gay agenda, but we didn't have transphobia, transvestigation. Cites a defunct source. Wait, did we? When? Oh my god, you're right! Evil Gina, I forgot about that shit. You're so right. Cites a defunct source, yes. Conspiracy theorists tells themselves staggering levels of hypocrisy. You did it! Chromatic Cuttlefish, you win. I'm sorry, I had to be corrected on that point, but I'm glad I was. I will write down your name, Chromatic Cuttlefish. You are the winner for today. I always forget to open up the document before stream. You'd think I'd know. Donate the sub. Give me a sec. Where were we before I do that? There you go. Gift sub randomly gifted to Rainy. So congrats, Rainy. You get the gift sub courtesy of Chromatic Cuttlefish. Cool beans.
Local.
Oh, that's not what we were doing. Where would we move to? It's a Tartaria thing. There it was.
So let's take a look at Norumbega. So if we look on Wikipedia, Norumbega is a legendary settlement in northeastern North America, which was featured on many early maps from the 1500s until European colonization of the region. It was alleged that the houses had pillars of gold, and the inhabitants carried quartz of pearls on their heads. Part of Abraham Ortelius' atlas from 1570 showing Norumbega among other somewhat mythical names for various areas as well as several phantom islands. Now the idea is, what if this was actually a Tartarian empire?
How in the world can you rely on part of the Wikipedia page as your source, but then disregard the rest of it and just be like, well, the rest of it's not true? That's so hypocritical to use a source for things that you think justify your belief, but the second it doesn't, you're like, the rest of this source is bullshit. Oh, you can't do that. That's not how this works.
And instead of what we are led to believe that, you know, America was founded in 1776, well, what if Tartaria still had control of America until around 1812, when we see the war between the United States and the UK, and then we see all these fires from around the world. So,
oh shit, German Cow JJ with a $5 tip says, getting us over the line for costume day. Fuck. So the next stream will be a costume day. We'll do a poll on the Discord. So if you want to vote for what costume I wear for the next stream, join the Discord.
So it begs the question, is Norumbega actually the old Washington, D.C.? Now, we can question...
Can watch the video he did on Greenville sometime. I'm getting pretty tired for the day, so we're almost done.
Question whether these Tartarians built these buildings or not. You know, maybe they came across it. Some of these buildings may be from another age, you know, some of these Capitol buildings. But for the most part, I would like to think that maybe they were the ones who developed the system of government, or the system of freedom, where people were given the rights to form militias and protect themselves from the tyranny that was probably happening all around the world.
Oh god.
Now I know that may feel like I'm kind of stretching it, but there's a lot of old books and a lot of old documentation that talks about Tartaria being in America. For example, Having achieved the conquest, the Tartars and their descendants had probably a much harder task to perform. This was to subdue the more ferocious and warlike European colonists who had entrenched and fortified themselves in this country after the arrival of the Tartars, or Indians as they're now called.
Oh, that's definitely debunked.
So, the idea is...
I assume this is based on an old... outdated hypothesis for how indigenous peoples came to the Americas, which I believe our current understanding is an ice bridge during one of the ice ages. So I'm assuming it's just a really outdated source that he's trying to use.
What I'm trying to get to is, what if the Tartarians...
Note the lack of Mississippi. Mississippi's a psyop.
Were actually the ones that were the founders or the founding fathers of many of the principles that we, we cherish in America
More like Mrs. Psyop, am I right?
Today. Now the question...
MISSISSIPPYOP.
Question is, when the Europeans came and invaded, or this war between, these parasites or whoever wanted to conquer this, the question is, who decided to protect the Constitution? Why is it that we still have that document, if it
Holy
is
fuck.
from a past date?
This guy's so tied up into misunderstandings, I don't even know where to go.
Now, it's possible that maybe they didn't just destroy all the Tartarians, meaning they had to submit. They may have lost the war. But what if a secret society, call them Freemasons, maybe another group, formed in a sense where they would protect not only the history of, North America, but they would also protect the foundations of the people, which was to be able to govern themselves and to protect themselves from tyranny. And what we see is America is the last place on earth with any type of document that allows that to happen. I saw a couple people mentioning that it's just a piece of paper and all this stuff, but there's no other document in the world that allows you to form militias against the government to protect yourself from tyranny. Now, one of the good puzzle...
Does he legitimately believe that before American militias, there was never any other example of, people trying to overthrow their government? Okay, whatever.
Pieces to this is, when you look at the uniforms between the British and America, they literally have the same outfits. They look...
Oh man, it's almost like they were culturally similar, and the people who were from the United States, many of them were from the UK and brought the same military structures. Like, for people who did actually have uniforms, which wasn't a lot of people in the United States military at the time, it was a lot of militias getting together. But for those that did, yeah, they're gonna probably use the same exact patterns, or at least similar ones that they had to the ones for the redcoats. They just changed the goddamn color. Wow, their outfits look really similar. Oh boy, it's almost like one was a colony of the other. Huh.
Exactly the same. So the question is, maybe these are the European...
Of all the people I've ever talked about on these streams, have any other snapped out of it? Anyone seems like they've even gotten a chance? Peter seems like he got better for a little bit, but I don't think that lasted. So no. The people I cover, I've not seen one get better. Sorry, I wish I had a nice story to tell you.
And the Tartarians...
To be clear, that's not to say it's impossible. It just doesn't happen on its own. I think it requires concerted effort. There are certainly people who have gone down rabbit holes of conspiracy and walked away from it. I just personally haven't seen it in real time. I don't have any advice or anything along those lines. So it happens, I just haven't seen it. Fenekigami says the point of right to militia wasn't so you could oppose the government. The point was so that the country could be defended because the US didn't have a standing army at first.
Looked more like militias, which again goes with the Constitution. So if this was America, and this was...
Didn't I mention a BBBYQ person who realized it was nonsense and got out of it? They no longer believe the BBBY thing, but their underlying understandings didn't change. They admitted that the BBBY thing wasn't real, but they don't necessarily not believe in conspiracies about short sellers and how the system works. They just think they were beaten, if that makes sense, by nefarious forces.
Was British.
I would say that often with conspiracy theorists, when they do change like that person does, there's sort of an idea of a minimum viable worldview change. They will change their worldview as much as they need to survive, but as little as possible. So they will say within the framework of their belief, oh, they just lost against the evil force. They don't necessarily believe there never was an evil force. You see this sometimes with QAnon people, too. These days, you'll see some of them second-guessing, because, Q appeared in, 2017. So it's been about 7 years now since QAnon first popped up. And, of course, since then, things haven't gotten better for MAGA people, for people in general. Haven't really gotten better. So, with their growing frustration, you'll see more and more messages that go along the lines of, I'm starting to think that Q was controlled opposition. Now, bear in mind, they don't think that there is not a cabal of Democrat Satanists murdering children. They still believe that. They just believe that QAnon was secretly part of that group and lying to them. See what I mean? They will shift their belief if they have to, but only as much as they have to. If that makes sense. Tea with Goblin says, "Hey Hannah and Stanas, glad tinfoil greetings from Spain. I haven't been able to catch a live stream in a while, so I put you on in the background. Spanish friend had never heard of Tartaria, so I had said that once they're done cleaning the dishes away, I'll take them down a new rabbit hole, just as you did for me." It's interesting. Mia Mulder has a great video that's an overview of the whole thing, by the way. Mia Mulder did a video on Tartaria on YouTube. Would recommend. DM Trey with 40 bits says, "Clipped that." Thanks, DM Trey.
Why would they be wearing such similar clothing? Such similar type of weapons? Doesn't necessarily make sense.
It does. It does make sense. You are just refusing the reality of the situation as to why that would be the case. It's not confusing.
The idea is that we have these old world type of uniforms, right? These militia type units, and then we have this new world where they have these...
Okay, so I think it's pretty clear that he just thinks militia means any kind of, 18th century military. I don't think he knows what a militia is differentiated from some of these other things. It seems like he just thinks, oh, this looks like an 18th century military thing. Militia. To him, those things appear to be the same. If it looks like it's the 18th century and they have guns, it's a militia, which is not what that means.
Extravagant European uniforms that all look the same. So...
They don't all look... You're literally showing uniforms that don't look the same, though. They have certain similarities, but they're not the same. Oh, God.
It begs the question. Was Tartaria in America, and were they the foundation of America? The Europeans seem like they're just following orders, but these Tartarians seem like these are just people. These are people forming militias and protecting their state. So, who are the real foreign parasites, and who were the ones who were here first?
This feels like thinly veiled anti-Semitism on the bingo card.
You see the same old type of stuff with these European... the USA and France look literally just the same. They have the same stuff on their heads. It's the same people. And here's a really interesting piece of the puzzle. So you also have, leftover architectures or leftover towers.
Yeah, the term parasites, unfortunately, is often used as a anti-Semitic dog whistle by a lot of conspiracy theorists. that is a characterization often given to their anti-Semitic straw men. It's pretty fucked up.
Will reference this Norumbega legend. So supposedly there's this Norumbega tower that this is all that's left, but it looks like something from the old world. And, you know, they say this was erected in the 1800s and stuff like that, but in here it says that it's supposed to mark the location of Fort Norumbega, a legendary Norse fort and city. So they've known about this for a while, and it's also interesting that if you look on Google, there's some of these Norumbega inns or houses that look just like out of place. They look very European. I don't know. I think it's a part of the puzzle. Now, if you want more proof for, you know, this idea that Tartaria was in
Wait,
America
there's been proof?
first, there's many old maps that not only reference Tartaria, Tartar.
Again, the Mia Mulder video goes into the explanation for that. I've gone over it before.
You can see Norumbega right here. Nova Francia, Arbrodos, a bunch of cities that I don't remember learning in the history class. There's another reference to Tartar, and there's many of these maps that kind of show this old world before the Europeans, or whoever you want to call them, came in and created the new world. And I'm sure many of you guys who have already been looking into Tartaria may know about this, but there's many changes that have happened to cartographic maps over the centuries.
Man, it's almost like we got better at figuring out what things look like from above. Alright. I think we're good for the day. We've been going for a while. I'm gonna give you guys the Mia Mulder documentary. That makes sense. Documentary.
In 1908,
So here's a link to this if you want to watch it. I am done for the day. Tomorrow's Valentine's Day, so I don't know if I'll be streaming tomorrow. Just kind of depends. We'll play it by ear. I hope all of you have a wonderful Valentine's Day with your significant other or others, whatever you got going on. If you're just hanging out by yourself, I hope you have a good time. And, yeah, just be cool. So, I don't know. That's it. I wish I don't have a big thing. All right, have a good night, everyone. Bye-bye.